Ends 9/3/24.
How was everyone's first day at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club?
Oh, me? I set the high score in mini golf.
I tried a new food called wasabi.
Oh, I did absolutely nothing. It was amazing.
There's no wrong way to be a winner. New $50,000 payout and $1 million cash word are here. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.54 to 3.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Whether it's the Hurricanes and their push for a second Stanley Cup or the first-year travails of Bryce Young and the Panthers, you get all of that and more in the Best of the Adam Gold Show, brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Another pretty day out there today. We'll have plenty of sunshine. The humidity stays fairly low. We'll have a high around 87. It's partly cloudy tonight with a low of 66 and just a few clouds around Friday with a high temperature of 88.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 534 points today to 40,542.
O'Connell with 1 second. Left wing three on the way. Banks it in. He got it. I don't believe it.
Jeremy Baxell has Roberts on him into the paint. Rises up. Big time.
Young throws. He's got Tommy. Near side 2-1. Touchdown Carolina.
To Ryan. Catch and shoot three. Right wing. He did it again. Ryan has 27.
Anderson makes a save. And it's kept out by Martin. What a save. Martin just robbed Lidred.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox producing the show. I'm Tim Donnelly, and I've been waiting a long time for today. Not just because there was a joint practice for the Panthers, although that's fun. Not just because we finally got to see starters go up against someone wearing a different color jersey, although that's fun.
There's something else that mattered?
They played well.
Oh, let's go! Let's go!
I mean, was it perfect? No. But the Jets are one of the top 10 teams in Super Bowl betting odds. Mm-hmm. And if you watched that practice, by all accounts, and I'm talking about, this isn't one beat reporter's like, hey, the Panthers didn't do that bad. I'm talking just about everybody watching. There were plays made on both sides.
Even Jets people were saying
that's what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
the Jets were hat tipping some Panthers plays. Like the Panthers had a good joint practice today.
Let's go.
They played well.
Let's go.
Now I like no planning parades yet. Like let's not get carried away, but take it for what it is. Right? When coaches talk about you have to get a little better each day. When coaches talk about you have to go 1-0 each day, win the day, Panthers did that today. And after, a year of feeling like you were just stringing together losses, right? A year of, like, how do you lose a Wednesday in the middle of the season, but somehow the Panthers were finding ways. There's a refreshing just vibe to what happened today between the Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets. How about this? The defense worked. Defense made plays against Aaron Rodgers. Defense made tackles. Defense forced turnovers. Defense got their hands on the ball against a team that's not the Panthers, which means you can take out the worry of is our defense playing that well, or is our offense just that bad and they're only going up against each other?
Mm-hmm.
You get to take that away.
2 interceptions against Rodgers today.
2 interceptions against Rodgers, I believe. And you never really know what the situations were. I believe they got their hands on the ball 5 times.
Yeah.
A'Shawn Robinson with a little peanut punch, forcing a fumble. Trayvon Wallace again there to recover it. Like there was real, tangible highlights made by the Panthers today.
And that's something Dave Canales, the moment he was hired, said was going to be a point of emphasis. Getting our hands on the ball defensively, causing turnovers.
Take the victory.
And apparently, if you could sack the quarterback, probably would have got to Rodgers about 4 or 5 times. And that's according to Jets people.
And take that to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Edge rushers getting home to a pocket passer. Again, look at the early part of the Panthers' schedule. It's Derek Carr, right? It's a whole bunch of guys that if you give them all the time in the world, they can sit back there and pick you apart. I believe they have Justin Herbert early, who is already not the most mobile guy. Now he's dealing with a foot injury.
Mm-hmm.
He'll pick you apart if you give him time in the pocket, but if you can get home, it can shake things up.
And Clowney, Jadeveon Clowney didn't even participate today.
Even better.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't even need our guy. Now, on the other side, the Jets, Quinnen Williams didn't play.
Sure.
He's their best defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's not perfect. I'm not sitting here crowning saying, hey, they look so good, they're going to win the Super Bowl. But I'm saying you have to latch on to what you can build on with the Carolina Panthers. Are there other, like Trayvon Wallace? Let's just call it what it is. He is a 3rd-round pick that was picked over Peyton Wilson that plays a position that Dan Morgan played. This guy has high expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Made plays today. It makes me believe he's a bit of a gamer, right? Makes me believe he's a bit of somebody who he's good in practice, but you put somebody else. And this is what I want out of my linebackers. I think this is what Dan Morgan talks about when he talks about dogs. Right? When you put someone else on the field, their game levels up. Terrace Marshall and Jonathan Mingo. We need to figure out what is different for them on game day, but today was reportedly a very good day for each of them, especially Terrace Marshall early. And with a little bit of swag. Dave Canales doesn't like it. I don't like that it started a fight, but he caught an early touchdown and he flipped the ball at the defensive back and it started a whole scuffle, which I don't like the scuffle part of it, but I like that early on a player is trying to say, no, we're the ones with the swag here.
He said, I'm here.
I just made a play. Right? J.C. Horn was talking, by the way, like a lot of these media availabilities are just coming out. I was just looking at comments made by J.C. Horn. His observation of Aaron Rodgers, he had 2 of them. 1, Aaron Rodgers is bigger than you think.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of quarterbacks are that way. It's like, really? They're 6'4", 6'5"? The other was he talks a lot of trash.
Yep.
But that's why I like Terrace Marshall Jr. Don't flip the ball maybe, but say something. Like if they're going to talk, you're going to talk. They're not better than you. You're not better than them. You guys are competing. Terrace Marshall Jr. had himself a day. Jonathan Mingo made some plays. And do you know what's the best part of those 2 guys making plays?
What's that?
I'm not going to get too excited about either of their play because we've seen them have really good camps, go right into the first preseason game and drop gimmies right out the gate.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to make them prove it to me in a game situation before I get too excited about them. But if Terrace Marshall was making plays and if Jonathan Mingo was making plays, it takes 2 to tango. That means the ball was there from Bryce Young. And Deontay Johnson and Xavier Legette didn't do anything today.
No, they stood on the sideline.
Exactly, didn't do anything. But if Jonathan Mingo can make a play, Deontay Johnson can probably make a play. If Terrace Marshall Jr. can make a catch, Xavier Legette can probably run that route. If Bryce is putting it there, that's important for Bryce.
But it's also Bryce had the time. Bryce had the time.
Which, that's what I'm worried about with joint practices, right? And that's why I think it's still important that he plays on Saturday, and we're going to have to get into that because there is still blow-bys. There's run-bys, right? I can't actually get him to the ground. So you do have to start pulling up early. And sometimes if you're a defensive lineman, maybe you would have gotten home or maybe you would have gotten a fingertip on the ball. I want the offensive line to have to protect when you're playing to the ground. But you're right. I mean, he had the time. There were, and this was a big concern of mine early in the preseason, there were throws downfield. There were shots downfield. There were over-the-top shots. There were longer developing plays, which does imply exactly what you said, that Bryce had some time. It's also why I think he needs to play on Saturday to make sure that time was real and not fool's gold time because the defensive line knew they couldn't hit Bryce Young anyway. But see, now I'm doing exactly what I asked you not to do.
What?
Just take the victory.
I am.
No, I'm saying I'm doing what I asked everybody not to do. Now I'm nitpicking and getting into we have plenty of time for that. Right now, it's just the Panthers made some highlights, and it's been a long time since a Panther fan got to watch a game, watch a scrimmage, watch an opponent on the field with the Panthers and have a smile on their face. I really wanted to in the first preseason game, right? Settled in, wanted to watch, and then quickly was like, not going to be a big smile day, is it? Right? A few grimaces of all right, I guess Leota's playing well. But there really wasn't that yes. There were a couple, maybe even a handful, yes, today. There were a few things off the field, some updates on injuries and things that make you go, no. But there were things on the field that made you go, yes. And you have to take that where you can get it, because if there's anything Panthers fans knows, if there's anything people that cover the Panthers know, it's that those are not guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Terrace Marshall Jr. having a day. Yes. Trayvon Wallace making plays against one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Yes. J.C. Horn, Deshaun Jameson stepping up and making some plays. Yes. Not to mention Bryce Young looking the part. And that's you hear coaches talk about stacking days, right? You do something today, perfect. Now do it again, do it again, do it again. Bryce Young needs to stack days like he had today, which are days where he's running the offense, he's leading, he's allowing his playmakers to make plays, and it doesn't matter who's out there with him. Could have been a real bummer day for Bryce. He could have been out there going, this year I'm supposed to have Deontay Johnson. This year I'm supposed to have Xavier Legette. Now I'm out here with the same guys I had last year. But he didn't do that. He dragged them towards a big day for the offense. Panthers-Jets joint practice, my first initial reactions are it was a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day. You almost have to, it's like you got to say it 3 times just to believe it, right? It was a good day. It's a good day. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have 99 questions about the college football season coming up. We're talking floors and ceilings of the Duke Blue Devils, but it is a good day, everybody. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
It feels like Jets fans are doing it to themselves all over again, falling head over heels for this team. I don't want to see another year where they have these high hopes and you see Aaron Rodgers running out of the tunnel in a primetime game and then 4 plays later, your season's over. I don't want them to have that type of letdown again.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Drive into summer with the Honda CR-V and Accord, your fun-to-drive weekend getaway vehicles. From Honda, the 2024 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. So hurry in to the Honda Summer Event. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get a 2.9% APR on a 2025 CR-V or 2024 Accord.
Contact your local Carolina Honda dealer for a great deal today.
See dealer for financing details based on 2024 Consumer Choice Awards from Kelley Blue Book. Visit kbb.com for more information.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Homeowners, listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted to lows we haven't seen in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner with a 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in the process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Welcome back. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I know there are plenty of you out there going, come on, get to the Fan Football Flyaway. What's the keyword? If you're not like that, you should be like that. It's time for our 3 o'clock keyword in our Fan Football Flyaway, sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company. We are sending one of you on a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. You get to go to Vegas. You get to see Carolina play against the Silver and Black in September. You get to have the room, the flight, the food vouchers. There's the whole kit and caboodle. But you have to text in each hour a keyword to get an entry. So between now and 4 o'clock, I'm about to give you a keyword. If you text it in, you get an entry. That's one entry. You can win with just that. However, if you want to maximize your chances, every day from noon to 6 here on 99.9 The Fan, once an hour we're giving out a keyword, and that keyword is only good for that hour. So this one expires at 4. There'll be a new keyword for the 4 to 5 o'clock hour, new keyword from 5 to 6, and we do that every day from noon to 6 until we eventually name our winner. If you want to win, or you want your chance for this hour, the word is West, W-E-S-T, West. Text West to 919-860-5326, and you will have your entry, your chance to win for this hour, a trip for 2 to Las Vegas and all of the accompaniment that I've already discussed. I mean, I can't emphasize this enough. All you have to do is text in a number once an hour, and you can have the most chances possible to win a trip for 2 to Vegas. If that doesn't get you to text in, that's on you.
That's pretty simple.
That's on you.
Pretty simple.
This hour's word is West. Text it in to 919-860-5326 before 4 o'clock, and then listen in the 4 o'clock hour of this show for the next hour's keyword. Now let's jump into our 99 questions about the college football season. Today's question is the start of a 3-parter. So we're going to do it today, Friday, and Monday for the 3 teams in the triangle, with the simple question being, what's your ceiling, what's your floor? Right? What's the fewest amount of wins we can realistically see your team getting, and what's the most amount of wins we can realistically see your team getting? And if that's pleasing or displeasing to you, then you can make your arguments all you want on our social medias and YouTube pages and all those sorts of things. I also think it's fun, or it's not fun. It's kind of necessary to frame your season this way before the season, because expectations are part of what can protect your happiness, right? If you go into every season thinking your team has a chance to win 12 games, be a conference champion, yeah, that's what the players and coaches should think. But then you could have 9 wins and be a massive disappointed fan when in actuality 9 wins might have been the best your team could possibly do based on where they are as a program. You'd be robbing yourself of happiness. And then on the flip side, if you go in thinking the worst your team could possibly do is 0 wins, then you're going to be weirdly happy when they beat that FCS team at the beginning of the year. Like, all right, we got 1. When in actuality, that should be the expectation. Duke, I have as a floor 4 wins. Duke, I have as a ceiling 8 wins.
Okay.
That's your range of happiness, right? If you get 8 wins, I believe you've, in a lot of ways, maxed out the talent on your roster. I have a bug flying around the microphone.
Oh,
and
there
I really
you go.
don't like it. So I'm not just, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm not just doing mock karate right now. I was trying to swat a fly away. 4 wins to 8 wins, meaning that's your range. That's what you should be judging this team on, right? I kind of think of it like this. This is kind of the overarching thought of what I'm trying to convey here. I know, I'll use teammates as an example. I had teammates that when it came time for, pro day, they were so content to tell the strength and conditioning staff, no. I'm not going to continue training for another 4 months for a pro day. I'm gonna call my football career over. And part of it was they felt like they had maxed out their ability. They're like, with the natural given talent that is in my body, my max was being a player for the University of Delaware. I wasn't a Power 5 conference guy. I'm not an NFL guy, but I've done the most I can do. And they were happy with their career, right? Good stories, good memories, moving on. Then there were guys who we would look and be like, wait a second, you ran a 4.4 at the pro day? Wait, hold up. You benched 31 reps of 225 at the pro day? We didn't really see that on the field at all, did we? That person feels like they didn't live up to their potential, and that's what should be hurting. So 4 to 8 wins. If Duke comes in at 4, you feel like they didn't live up to their potential. They would have beaten Elon, an FCS school.
Okay. Probably
UConn, Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then one of Northwestern and Wake Forest. If you get those wins, I believe that is the floor of what Duke should be able to do this year. If you get 8 wins, that means you probably won those 5 games I just mentioned, Elon, Northwestern, UConn, Middle Tennessee, and Wake. And you stole 3 from teams like SMU or Virginia Tech or Georgia Tech or UNC or a ranked opponent, which you have 3 of.
Are we going to factor in bowl games into this overall total? Because let's say they go 7-5 regular season, you win a bowl game. Okay, that's 8 wins on the year. Are you going to factor that into this as well?
Yeah, I think I am. Because I can't see them winning. There's a stretch in the middle of their conference. Middle of their schedule, not their conference, where they go UNC on the road at Georgia Tech, number 10 Florida State, SMU at home, meaning in Wallace Wade, 19th ranked Miami, 24th ranked NC State, and a 27th in the AP poll, Virginia Tech.
That's not easy.
That's a tough and to get to 7 wins, you have to win 3, 2 of those. That's a really tough stretch to go through. So I will give them the bowl game to get to 8 wins, which obviously to get to 8 wins, you'd be 7, you'd be bowl eligible. And that's what, to me, success looks like for Duke. You win 7 games in the regular season, you win a bowl game, you go into year 2 of Manny Diaz with your hair on fire. You're excited. right? That probably means Grayson Loftus or Malik Murphy has established themselves as the starting quarterback for the Duke Blue Devils, and now next year you become a bit of a destination, right? You have a quarterback that's proven. People want to go play with quarterbacks that are proven. That probably means your offensive coordinator, who comes into Duke with 1 year of experience as an offensive coordinator, figured something out and now knows more of what they want on your offensive, meaning offensive roster, what type of skill sets you want, what players they need. You come in with 8 wins, you feel like the teammate I talked about who's like, this is, with what we were given, this is the best we could do, and I'm happy about it. Right? It's that athlete thing of you can get beat, but as long as you do everything you can to win, you can put your head on your pillow at night, right? No regrets. You come in 4 wins, you come in 5 wins, you don't make a bowl game, you're going to be sitting around feeling like, we left some meat on the bone. We left some change on the table. And sometimes, that those first couple of years with new coaches, new regimes, you do leave some meat on the bone, right? Because there's there might be a moment where you click in like week 5 and you've already lost a game you shouldn't in the first 4 weeks. And at the end of the season, you're just thinking, man, if we only figured that out 2 weeks earlier, this whole season would have been different. So that's what you have to worry about with Duke as well. But I'm giving them between 4 and 8 wins this year. And then the 8 would include a bowl game. That's their range. And if they shock the world and win 9, you'll see my hand up going, I didn't think that was possible. Be accountable to it, but I don't anticipate having to be accountable. And by the way, I also don't think they're going to go like two wins either. Like I think,
so you said the floor 4.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I'm not just saying I wouldn't believe 9. I also would be equally as shocked if they win 2. So I'm not just saying I'd be shocked if they're good. I'd be also shocked if they're below that range. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will tomorrow, I forget what order I said. Tomorrow we'll do UNC. Is that what I said?
Sure.
We'll do the floor and the ceiling for UNC. If you have some thoughts on that, go ahead and send them in at Donnelly Sports on Twitter. I'll check those before the show tomorrow. When we come back here on 99.9 The Fan, Vashti Hurt of Carolina Blitz gives us an update from Carolina Panthers camp on what was a good day today. We'll see if she saw it that way as well. Stick around.
Is your heating and air system ready for hot weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
Are you ready to rule the realm? With the new Game of Thrones scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can. This epic game gives you the chance to win up to $200,000 instantly, or a trip to beautiful Napa Valley to play the Seven Kingdoms experience, where you could take home your share of up to $7 million in cash prizes. So treat yourself like royalty. Play the Game of Thrones scratch-off today, and let your reign begin. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds are 1 in 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Navy Federal Credit Union is back with more eligibility. Now you can hear all your favorites like, my brother's a veteran, I get amazing rates. My mom served, I get 24/7 member support. Grandpa was a soldier and now I'm a member. And who could forget, thanks to my father who served in the military, I'm now eligible for incredible member benefits. Call 1-855-800-2102 or visit NavyFederal.org today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Make the most out of summer with great deals on a great selection of Ram light-duty and heavy-duty pickup trucks. And right now, during the Ram Make This the Summer event, get an exceptional deal on the 2024 Ram 1500, the most luxurious Ram 1500 ever. Or get a heavy-duty deal on the powerful Ram 2500 and Ram 3500, the most advanced Ram heavy-duty pickups ever. Make this the summer to remember with great deals on award-winning Ram trucks. See your local Ram dealer now during the Ram Make This the Summer event, based on standard and available features offered.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Sammy Hanna, owner-operator of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people this all the time. If I am doing a commercial for somebody, I am vouching for who they are and what they do. You guys do great work, but your customer service stands above all the great work that you do.
Adam, I truly appreciate that testimonial. And yeah, we try to take pride in our customer service and meet and exceed our homeowners' expectations on all their home improvement needs. Obviously, there's many companies out there that do what we do. If you Google home improvements, Raleigh, you're going to get many, many companies. But you're not going to find too many companies out there that have a 4.9 rating and over 800 Google reviews and over 7,000 Guild quality reviews. It takes a lot of work on our part to make sure we meet and exceed all your expectations on customer service. And we're going to continue to do so because that's why we've been in business since 1961.
I have used the Aluminum Company. I have not heard anyone that had anything but incredible things to say about all of you, and that is amazing. That's a testimony to how you guys do it. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Joint practices this morning for the Carolina Panthers as they took on the Jets. Both teams holding some players out, but we still need to get the juice. We need to get the dirt. We need to know what it was like. And that's where Vashti Hurt, the editor-in-chief of Carolina Blitz, comes in. She's joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. You can follow Carolina Blitz on Twitter at Keep Blitzing. Blitzin, by the way, Blitzin. Just if you're looking for it on Twitter, want to make sure we get the handle right. Vashti, thank you for joining us. I have to admit, this is going to be an unusual Panthers kind of interview because it seems like everything coming out of joint practices today is kind of good vibes and they played well, which is something new over the last 11, 12 months of just good vibes. Is that what you're taking away from today, that for the most part it's good news?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I've been to the this is the, fourth joint practice. I was in Indy. I went to New England and the Jets last year, and each of those were precursors for what we could expect during the regular season. I'm not saying that's the case here, but it was not what I've seen in previous joint practices. The offense was able to efficiently move the ball. We saw some chunk plays by Bryce Young. We saw some scores by Bryce Young. So all in all, I think that the team and fans should be happy with what they were able to produce today.
What about maybe the other side of the ball? And I know from checking out your website, Carolina Blitz, one of the players you were really excited to see in the joint practices was J.C. Horn. How did he fare against, obviously, Rodgers and Garrett Wilson in an offense with some names?
Yeah, Rodgers is Rodgers. He was able to dice up the defense some. But J.C. was on a snap count, so he didn't play. He played sparingly, especially in the 11-on-11 drills. I had to split my time between offense and defense. So the first portion of practice, I was watching offense, and then the second, I watched the defense. Unfortunately, when defense was on the field, while I was watching, JC he was not playing at that point, so he had limited snaps. But on the defensive side, it wasn't as positive as the offense, but it wasn't terrible. So you had Trevin Wallace, a rookie who was able to pick off Aaron Rodgers in the red zone. I think Aaron threw about 3 picks today, but they were able to move the ball against the Panthers defense. It's important to note Clowney wasn't playing. Dane Jackson, their other anticipated starting corner opposite JC, is injured as well. So they were without a couple of pieces on that defense that you would expect them to have during the regular season. So it's important to note that. But Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers, and so it wasn't like, the Panthers defense was able to really shut that Jets offense down. But we don't really care about the defense, do we? What we care about is that offense, because they have been putrid the last few years, and it was very positive today.
Vashti Hurt, editor-in-chief of Carolina Blitz, joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Do you know what happens to Mingo and Marshall Jr. on game day? Because I keep hearing how great they are in camp. I keep hearing how they made plays today, but then obviously in preseason game one, and we go back to last year, they've struggled to make plays once they're in the stadium with the game lights.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I'm going to give Mingo a pass. Mingo was a rookie. Mm-hmm. Mingo was a part of that terrible offense, and nobody looked good last season, right? So I'm gonna give Mingo somewhat of a pass. Terrace Marshall has had trouble finding his footing. The best that he's looked was actually when Steve Wilks took over, and they were running the ball and kind of opened up things for the offense. That's the best he's looked, but he hasn't really had a lot of time on the field. He's flashed in training camp. Right now, at this point, it's a toss-up whether he makes the 53-man roster. But I think that you got to kind of wash away last season. So Mingo, I'm going to give a pass, but he worked out with Steve Smith during the off season. He seems to have a renewed confidence, and I think that everybody is benefiting from a fresh start with a new coaching regime, a new scheme, and less expectations on them. And I think that also is another thing that'll bode well for the Panthers heading into this regular season. But you're right. I mean, they have to show us that during the regular season on game day. And so thus far, we haven't seen it. But, Mingo hadn't really looked as good as he's looked this training camp, even last year during training camp and even during OTAs. So that might be a good sign. But, Deontay Johnson is going to be the man for this team. Adam Thielen will probably be number 2. And depending on how Xavier Legette looks, he'll probably be number 3. Mingo and Terrace Marshall, depending on, if Terrace makes the team, those would be guys who would be wouldn't be main targets, but would have to make plays as well.
Was there anything you felt you still want to see, right? Because obviously these teams joint practice today, and then they face off in the preseason in week 2. Is there something you're still itching to see or get your eyes on for this weekend?
I don't expect the starters to play this weekend, not with as many snaps as they had. So I don't think fans should get their hopes up for that. I guess maybe some of the backups. I think that there's a lack of depth along. The offensive line talent falls off once you get past that first group. And so, historically and with really all teams, you're only as good as your last offensive lineman, because inevitably one of those guys is going to get hurt. So I'm curious to see how the second and third string offensive line, how those guys are able to play. They're banged up in the secondary. There's a guy who played at South Carolina who's still on the market, and fans are asking about whether the Panthers will plan to sign him. With Dane Jackson out, I think that Dan Morgan should make that call. I think he does make that call, and maybe talks ramp up with that. But outside of that, you got to see where your depth is in that secondary. Some of those guys are going to have to step up. With Jackson being sidelined for, I believe, potentially 6 weeks. And that goes into the regular season. So who's going to be your opposite corner, corner opposite of J.C. Horn? And then you mentioned the wide receivers. Deontay Johnson is day-to-day. I would anticipate that he'll be ready week 1. And then Adam Thielen. But Xavier Legette did not get any targets. He really didn't play in 11-11 today. who's going to be that third guy who's going to step up and be the option for Bryce.
And just so everybody is kind of picking up what Vashti is putting down, that player that played at South Carolina she mentioned is Stephon Gilmore, who a lot of I think fans want to see back in Carolina. Old high school teammate and college teammate of Jadeveon Clowney, so I'm sure he's laying on the recruiting. Vashti Hurt, editor-in-chief of Carolina Blitz. Before we let you go, one more. I need some more specifics on Bryce. Everyone I talk to just wants the hype or it's either, the sky is falling Chicken Little or he's going to be the next big thing. Based on today, which direction is he moving and what specifically did you see from him that makes you think that way?
He's definitely trending in a positive direction. I liked he was accurate on his deep throws. I liked his movement out of the pocket. Once he was able to get out of the pocket, and this is what he did in Alabama. Those kind of off the cuff throws, those throws where he's forced out of the pocket and he makes something happen. We haven't really seen that. We didn't see that last season. We didn't see that in training camp last year. I saw that today. It seems like he is getting back to what he is good at. And, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid yet. So I don't want, this is probably the best practice I've seen that he's had all training camp. It just happened to be against one of the best defenses. So I think that's a great thing. But when it comes to Bryce Young, he seems more comfortable in front of the media. He's talking more to teammates. He's embracing that leader role as a professional. So I think he's trending in a positive direction. You just hope that translates during the regular season. But so far, if we're going based on what we saw today, Bryce is on an upward trajectory.
That's what they want to hear. Vashti, we appreciate you for stopping in, giving us the insight, and we'll continue following along at Carolina Blitz.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Once again, that's Vashti Hurt, editor-in-chief of Carolina Blitz on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. You can follow Carolina Blitz on Twitter at Keep Blitzin. That's Keep spelled normally BLITZIN on Twitter for what they follow, obviously being the Carolina Panthers. Can I just be the first to say,
yeah,
I love that last answer about Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically getting outside the pocket. It's something that I've been saying he's looked this camp exceptional at making plays outside the pocket to the point where, especially during those couple of practices where the offensive line was getting beaten pretty badly. If you remember FanFest in Clemson, Jadeveon Clowney was ruining things for the offense.
Yeah.
I was imploring Bryce to speed up that internal alarm clock in the pocket because he's looked so comfortable outside the pocket that once he's been getting on the move, he's been making plays. And to hear that, that's something that he's doing more of, that is, to me, not a surprising, A to B connecting of the dots to where it's like, hey, Bryce looks like he's more confident. Bryce looks more like the guy from Alabama. The offense is having success against another defense, and also he's getting outside the pocket and making plays. I'm going, well, if you get a guy doing what he's the best at, he's going to be the best version of himself. A lot of the balls he used to complete at Alabama, yes, they also had what I call my wide receivers better than you plays, where he could take a 3-step drop and throw it, pick before the play that Jamison Williams was going to be open. They did have that, or John Mechie or any of these guys they had at Alabama. But they also had quite a few plays where, you drop back and the guy's not there. And he buys a little bit of time. They break off their route, get to a scramble drill, and he's putting it on the money. I think that's something the Panthers can utilize a bit more with Bryce Young as this season moves along. So that's fantastic answer to receive from Vashti there about what she saw from Bryce today and why he looks so good.
In our YouTube live chat, PSY Burn 21 wants to know, now we're all the Bryce Young haters.
Well,
that's funny. They got quiet today. That's true. They got a little quiet today.
That is true. I think there should be a time limit on that kind of talk, because the Bryce Young haters had a full year to be like, where are the Bryce Young stands now? Where are the Bryce Young super fans now? Now there's like, a solid week of pretty good play, even though we had a couple days with some turnovers this week. Has a good joint practice, and now the super fans are like, where are the haters now? It's like, I don't know, catching their breath. They've been talking nonstop for 11 months.
That's true. They have. Nathan also says it's about time to see/hear something about the offense doing something. In my opinion, still need to be out there in some preseason action too.
I agree with that.
Yep.
And also, like, the fact that Vashti is saying like, oh, the defense didn't do as well. Defense had the playing pretty good offense. Like, let's just call it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets are going to make a lot of pretty good defenses. If you stalemate that offense, in a lot of ways, that's a victory, especially if you catch them at the beginning of the year when your 40-year-old quarterback is spry. End of the year, might be a little banged up, might be a different story. But you have Garrett Wilson run all over the place. You have Breece Hall doing stuff. You have, I doubt they played Mike Williams very much, but they got some talent on that offense. Not to mention some new offensive linemen. Olu Fashanu from Penn State apparently is the real deal.
Oh, yeah. They're, ninth overall pick?
Yeah, it was one of the top picks, and supposedly he's showing in camp that he probably could have been drafted a little higher. So the Jets offense, if the defense was making some plays and the offense was making some plays and it felt like a ping-pong match going back and forth, I take that, right? And if on the other side the offense was making more of the plays than the defense when Carolina's offense was on the field, that's a win for the day. That's a win. This is going to be one of my favorite segments that we're going to introduce to you for the rest of the football season. We are calling it, and there's more coming, but we could not wait to introduce it to you. Throughout the football season, we look for ways to track storylines, right? We look for ways to make sure that we're being accountable, make sure that we are telling the stories and tracking the things that matter to a football team. When it comes to the Carolina Panthers, I think there's the alignment we need to track, right? We need to make sure everybody's staying in the rowboat, rowing in the same direction, pulling on the rope, whatever you want to call it. And I also think there is a certain level of Panther that needs to be there. If you look at the best Panther teams, they're tough, right? The defenses will push you around. There's guys like Dan Morgan. There's guys like Cam Newton. There's guys like Luke Kuechly. There's guys like Thomas Davis. There's guys like Julius Peppers, right? There's players that are not afraid to out-physical you, and if they can't out-physical you, they'll out-crazy you, right? They'll be willing to do more than you. So Dan Morgan, taking over as the GM of the Panthers, pretty immediately once he took over, talked about wanting to get dogs on the team. Dogs, right? DAWG. It's his free agency, like all the behind-the-scenes stuff. He referenced it multiple times. At the Senior Bowl, dogs. At the Combine, we're looking for dogs. Talking to scouts, we need dogs. So we thought we'd put together Dan Morgan's dog scale.
Should I play the sounder?
Yes, go ahead.
Dogs. Like, we need some dogs.
Oh. I love it. That's my first time hearing that. So what we've done is we've set up a scale from Chihuahua to German Shepherd.
Yep.
It goes Chihuahua, Jack Russell Terrier, Golden Retriever, Bulldog, German Shepherd. Right? And German Shepherd being like the, for lack of a better term, alpha, right? Like the biggest, most jacked German Shepherd you've ever seen. Actually, no, I'm going to tell you a specific German Shepherd.
Oh, okay, hit me.
This is not around here, so I'm not calling out any of the dog parks around here.
All right.
Previous spot where I lived, I brought my dog to the dog park. I have a border collie. You got to let them run, right? Especially when they're younger. So we took him to the dog park, and the thing I loved about this dog park is it was like 100 yards long. It was a massive fenced-in dog park. So the dog, like you could throw a tennis ball as far as you possibly could. Dog would be fine, not leaving the dog park. So one day I show up. There's, let's call it 15 dogs there, right? It's a popular place. They're running around, having a good old time. My dog jumps in the mix, has a good old time. One of them is a massive, some kind of mastiff. Like, we're talking 170, 180.
Okay,
like
all right.
Big dog. And he's kind of loping around with them, right? Big dogs are a little more lethargic. And then the biggest German Shepherd I've ever seen shows up. And I'm like, ooh, big dog. But, you figure bring him to the dog park, must be friendly, let him run around. The person lets the German Shepherd off the hook, immediately walks over to where I was standing with a couple of the other dog parents and says, hey, just so you know, my dog humps.
Oh, okay.
It was like a couple, and they said, just so you know, if we see it, we'll grab it right away. Don't worry. Like, if it's your dog, just scream. We'll take care of it. And I'm like, all right, whatever. That's kind of weird, but sure. And then as they're going to the next person to explain it, the German Shepherd tried to do that to the Mastiff.
Trying to maximize it. All right.
And the Mastiff said, absolutely not. And this was the biggest, fur, very scary thing. And everyone immediately runs to get their dog, right? And I run to get my dog. I have no clue where he is.
Uh-oh.
And it felt like 5 seconds, probably was 2. I look over my shoulder, my border collie, blitzing, 100 yards away, in the corner, looking at me, big smile on my face, like, hey, don't worry about me.
I'm over here.
My fight or flight is 100% flight, and I'm fast. So I was like, cool. But the messed up part was, now this Mastiff owner and this German Shepherd owner are holding their dogs away by the collar, and everyone is taking their dogs out of the dog park. I have to walk 100 yards to the other side, get my dog, put him on a leash, walk him the 100 yards back while they're just wrestling with these dogs. And I remember thinking, I'm putting a lot of faith in these owners to hold these dogs back, because if I'm in the middle of this, there's nothing I can do. By the way, the German Shepherd ended up winning the fight pretty obviously. Got kind of ugly there. That's the German Shepherd I'm talking about. Like a massive, looked like they've been on steroids, had shoulder muscles. I'm like, do you do lat workout? Like, are you military pressing? Where did the shoulder come from?
Every day's leg day.
Yeah, I guess it would be leg day for them. I don't know. But either way, that's the dog. That's what you want if you're Dan Morgan. That's like what you want in a middle linebacker if you're Dan Morgan. The Chihuahua, I think that speaks for itself. It fits in your pocketbook. Jack Russell Terrier is somebody that, got a hint of it, right? A little scrappy.
Barks a lot.
Barks a lot.
Makes a lot of noise.
Maybe a little bit more bark than bite, but tries.
Yeah.
Golden Retriever is, you're never going to complain about a Golden Retriever.
No.
Just good family pet.
You love them.
Good family pet. And if
very loyal.
If it does have to defend like the kids, it will. But if not, it's going to be on the couch, hanging out. 4 is a bulldog. That makes sense. Bulldog. That's kind of like the cliche, right? You want a bulldog. You got to be stubborn as a bulldog. And then the German Shepherd all the way on the end. So what we're going to do throughout the season is pick players and say, where are they falling on Dan Morgan's dog scale? Where do they go? Are they a Jack Russell Terrier? Are they a bulldog? Are they getting the highest compliment of being a German Shepherd?
Yeah, give us an example.
An example would be, I'm thinking like Shaq Thompson.
Okay.
Bulldog.
Bulldog. Perfect.
And if you were just, and I'm saying this complimentary, like if you were a little bit more crazy, I think he could be a German Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe even younger in his career, he might have been a German Shepherd.
Oh yeah.
Now he's a bit smart, right? He's learned when to take his shots and when he can, just grab you and get you on the ground. I think Shaq Thompson is a bulldog. Somebody I'm looking for more from. Somebody like Miles Sanders is probably more Jack Russell Terrier.
Yeah,
right?
It's about right.
He's yapping a lot this preseason, but when I've seen him get workhorse carries as a running back, he gets hurt or isn't as effective. I think of the Jack Russell Terrier as someone that's involved in the fight, but is really just behind a bigger dog going, that's right. That's kind of where I look at it. So, and by the way, more players are more difficult to place. Where do you put Jadeveon Clowney on the dog scale? That one to me is tough, and we'll have to have that debate as the season goes along, because you'll watch him maul an offensive lineman and you're like, German Shepherd. But then you'll watch him go a quarter and you don't even notice he's on the field and you're like, Golden Retriever? So it's the dog scale, right? Dan Morgan's looking for dogs. Did he find them? And, don't let me find out a rookie is a dog, because then I'm going, let's lock him in. Let's get him here for the next 10 years, right? You don't move on from those guys unless it's retirement. Team leaders, those sorts of things. And last thing I'll say about this, I also don't think you can have a team entirely of German Shepherds. I think that might push some kind of crazy limit.
Well, yeah.
I think you need a few like golden retrievers there to keep a level head in certain situations as well. So don't think if we put 5 people on the Dan Morgan's dog scale, if we don't come back with all German Shepherds, that's a problem for the team that they need to fix. Sometimes you do need a Jack Russell Terrier, right? You need energy as well. Somebody's got to give the pregame speech. German Shepherds don't give the pregame speech. They talk with their pads. Jack Russell Terriers never stop talking, so it makes sense. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
Real quick, I know we're giving away a lot of stuff.
Yes.
It's National Shooting Sports Month. Text RIVER to 919-860-5326. Again, RIVER, R-I-V-E-R, to 919-860-5326 to enter for a chance to win a $50 gift card and celebrate with your friends at Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Learn more at deepriversportingclays.com. Again, RIVER, text RIVER to 919-860-5326 for a chance to win a $50 gift card to Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Phenomenal place. I love Deep River. Definitely text to win to get that for sure.
Check it out. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Coming up next, football at 4. We hear from Dave Canales. We hear from Bryce Young on what it was like to have an offense that was actually moving the ball. What it was like to have an offense today going up against the Jets that you're not immediately either defending yourself with actuallys. Well, actually, we didn't do that bad if you look at the advanced analytics. Or you're not immediately explaining yourself as the reasons why the season was a tough one or the game was a tough one. I'm excited to hear the most optimistic person on the planet, Dave Canales, explain what happened on the field today. The audio from post-joint practice, Dave Canales and Bryce Young, will come up in Football at 4. And don't forget, we still have our 4 o'clock keyword in our fan football flyaway coming up as well. So you don't want to miss that. Stick around.
Get ready for the ultimate football fan experience. Hey, it's Victoria Vodnecker here for 99.9 The Fan. Join us at Buffalo Brothers on Lake Boone Trail in Raleigh this Friday, August 16th from 6 to 7:45 p.m. Enter for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas to see Carolina take on Vegas with a 3-night stay at Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino and a $400 food credit. Again, that's Buffalo Brothers on Lake Boone Trail this Friday. I'll see you there.
Get the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 powered by Galaxy AI with Spectrum free anytime upgrade. Use Circle to search with Google to see more and search more on the large Z Fold 6 screen. Or capture perfectly framed pics using FlexCam and Z Flip 6. Order now with Spectrum free anytime upgrade and get up to $1,000 off, plus the value of your trade-in. Visit a Spectrum store or SpectrumMobile.com today. Offer subject to change, valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
That's a deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money. I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get up? Juicy double patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow. Yeah, McDonald's don't miss. Yeah, order app or the drive-through quick. Yeah. $5. That's a deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money. I got McDonald's money.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50, $70, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle, with APRs in the 5s. You can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com. Age 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Want a great deal on Mountain Dew? Handy Hugo's offering 2 20-ounce Mountain Dews for just $4. Do the Dew at Handy Hugo's today.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces away into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Another pretty day out there today. We'll have plenty of sunshine. The humidity stays fairly low. We'll have a high around 87. It's partly cloudy tonight with a low of 66 and just a few clouds around Friday with a high temperature of 88.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 536 points to 40,545.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There is one question about our Dan Morgan's dog scale that I'm going to address in a second, just because I want to be clear with everybody that this show stands on certain values. But first, it's time for our 4 o'clock keyword in our fan football flyaway, sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company. This hour, there you go. You surprise me every time with it. Different point in the read. This hour's word is touchdown. TOUCHDOWN, one word. Touchdown. Text touchdown to 919-860-5326 to enter for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. We're talking flights. We're talking fun. We're talking room. We're talking the game. See Carolina and the Silver and Black play. All this happening in September. All you have to do to get this hour's entry, text touchdown, one word, TOUCHDOWN, to 919-860-5326. If you do that before 5 o'clock, you get the entry for this hour. And then I encourage you to listen in next hour, in the 5 o'clock hour, for another keyword that'll expire at 7. So for this hour, touchdown, text it in by 5 to 919-860-5326. Now, before we get to the audio from Dave Canales and Bryce Young, I do want to quickly address our choices of dogs for the Dan Morgan's dog scale. Because there was an immediate comment on the YouTube saying, why isn't Pitbull number 1? There is, I am a massive dog person, right? I have a dog. The cliches about if my dog doesn't like you, I'm skeptical of you. If you don't like my dog, I'm still skeptical of you. I think dogs are awesome. Had one growing up, have one now. And I know that certain dog communities are a bit more defensive in nature about how their dogs are talked about. And I know the pit bull community gets very, very defensive or very, very sensitive when their dogs are brought up as mean or angry or any of those things. right? So we decided to leave Pit Bull out. German Shepherd we thought was a good kind of top dog because they're trained in a lot of ways to be the bullies, right? Military German Shepherds, police German Shepherds, like they are, their strength and their ferociousness is seen as a positive for the breed rather than something that some people might be sensitive to. So we tried to pick breeds that were not going to ruffle any feathers because I understand the bond between a dog and a dog owner, and you definitely don't want your dog to be insulted. Quick way to get me not to like you is to insult my dog, right? I think he's pretty awesome. I'm sure that's true for many of you. So there you go. Just a quick little follow-up to make sure we're all on the same page there. Big dog lovers on at least in this part of the studio. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Now we can jump towards the Dave Canales and Bryce Young reaction to earlier today's joint practice with the I keep saying Green Bay Packers just because Aaron Rodgers is out there.
Come on, man.
Well, and Alan Lazard. Well, and Nathaniel Hackett's their offensive coordinator. They kind of are Packers East, is all I'm saying.
No, they're not. One franchise is successful, the other stinks.
They both wear green. The Jets and the Panthers joint practice today. And if you missed the beginning of the show, you missed our conversation with Vashti Hurt of Carolina Blitz. Good day for the Panthers, right? Not everything was perfect, but overall more good than not. Something to build off of for the team as they move through their preseason and training camp. If there was something that it felt like Dave Canales put aside from the good, right? He talked about so much. There was one thing that he's like, could have done without that. There were two fights. There was one fight that was started when Terrace Marshall Jr. caught a touchdown and then flipped the ball at the defensive back. And then there was another fight, I believe, between Mike Boone and what seemed like at one point in time like 6 Jets. But there were multiple punches thrown in that one. So
there's also a scuffle that broke out when Chuba Hubbard got hurt. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't a bad
more
hit,
like
but
running
Hubbard
to
got
defend
hurt.
and making sure it ended there.
Yep.
Dave Canales did discuss the Terrace Marshall Jr. scuffle and the fact that the ball flip kind of started it. Here's Canales.
It's dumb football. We can't have that. Guys fighting, guys getting into we want to celebrate with each other. We want to make big plays and give the opponent nothing. This is the exact type of stuff that I've been hitting them on, especially going into this practice. And guys, he got excited, and he made a great play on a really good player. Leave it at that. A great football play. How about we celebrate that? So he and I talked about it out there, and we put it behind us. But it's just these are the moments. It's too hard. Football is too hard. The margins are so tight in this league. You can't afford to give the opponent anything. Not the ball. Not a penalty. Not anything. Not false starts and pre-snap things, aligning offsides. Those are all the things. They're marginally. They just add up and they flip the field, and it makes it even harder.
All of that is true. I would actually make Dave Canales tone it down a hint, because here's the thing. It wasn't a game. They didn't cost you. And players know that, right? It's no different than like if me and my buddies are hanging out watching a game, I might use a word or two that I'm not allowed to use on radio. But guess what? It doesn't hurt me there. There's no penalty there. My boss doesn't hear it. The radio regulators aren't going to hear it. Like, then I come on air and I know can't use that word, right? I'm talking curse words, not slurs or anything like that. Just to be clear. Don't want anybody going like, whoa, did Tim just admit to something? No. Like I might throw in a word that's just not radio ready, right? Terrace Marshall Jr. can do that same kind of logic and say, hey, in practice or in a joint practice, I can flip the football at a defensive back, and it's just me letting them know I had a good play. In a game, flipping the football means refs see it and the league office sees it, and I have to give up 15 yards and everything else that comes with it. So, I don't think this is like, you can't give up 15 yards. It's like, well, no, I didn't. This was a joint practice. Whether I caught it or not, we were bringing the ball back. We were going to have a 3rd and 7 on the 12-yard line. It didn't cost us anything.
Yeah, I see both sides of it, because Terrace Marshall did say, because he met with the media afterwards, he's like, yeah, I wouldn't do that in a game. But I also see from Dave Canales is what he's trying to establish, like, hey, discipline is vital for us. I totally see both sides.
Exactly. I get it. But also, like, the Panthers had something to brag about.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, they were enthusiastic about it. Terrace Marshall Jr. caught a touchdown.
Couple of them.
I mean, like that. Like, there's
let's go.
There's something there. Speaking of that offense, Dave Canales talked about the Panthers' offense facing a new opponent.
We've practiced against our defense all spring and all camp, and our defense is doing great. Our scheme alone is really hard. I've gone against it for years. It's really challenging. They force you to try to run the ball. Good luck with that front. And so they really play you into their hands, and it's hard. And the marginal misses from the quarterbacks, there's guys in areas and guys in space. And so to see somebody else, someone to have a fresh start for the offense, to me, it was a response for the offense to say, hey, we know we've had a couple of slow starts. We've had also some fantastic practices going into the New England week. And so you take your lumps, you have your ups and the downs, and you just keep moving forward, keep pounding, some would say, and you just get to the fundamentals. Fix it, show it on tape, try to have just a really objective look at what's happening instead of getting into, bigger things. And so I saw the guys just settle in, execute, play really hard, and it was fantastic.
Did I hear him throw a keep pounding in there? Look at Dave Canales. Good day at the office, good showing from his offense. He's hitting the right callback notes to fans. Dave Canales, have yourself a day. A couple days ago, you were singing Bob Marley in the team room. Dave Canales, have yourself a week. And on top of that, and honestly, we've talked about this a few times throughout the offseason. So much of so much of the vibe of this season is going to rise and fall with what Bryce Young does, right? If Bryce Young looks good, your breakfast is going to taste better, right? Your favorite movie is going to make you laugh harder. Right? It's just the birds are going to sing louder on your walk to work. It's just how it's going to be. And when he has rough days, right, your food's going to taste bland. Music isn't going to be as catchy. Like it's just how it works when you're a team looking for your franchise quarterback. So I don't think it's a surprise that Bryce Young had a good day and everybody is just overwhelmingly going like, yeah, it wasn't, think that certain players got beat. Or like, I saw Aaron Rodgers throw a couple dimes to Garrett Wilson. There's probably a time or a scenario where those feel like, gosh, what is the secondary going to do? But when Bryce Young is throwing touchdowns on the other field against the Jets defense, it's like, they'll figure it out. Bryce is doing well. Dave Canales continued with his praise for his quarterback.
I thought he was sharp yesterday. He had 2 interceptions. One he didn't see shy, and then the other one was, learn the lesson. Don't be late outside, So in general, again, compartmentalize the mistakes and say, what was the body of work? So today he came out. He was sharp. He was getting us in and out of the huddle. He's accurate. He just shows like that's Bryce. He loves it. When he gets challenged and the stakes rise, that's him. He just stays the same and he continues to be accurate. And I love the way he handled today.
I love the way he handled today. It's things are gonna just be better. Like we did the Bryceometer last year, right? When the Bryceometer is all the way towards the positive, it's everything's gonna go a little bit smoother. When he's flirting, moving back towards the negative, it's a really, really hard obstacle to overcome. You need a quarterback playing pretty high-level football in order to achieve big and lofty goals for your team. And the fact that some of you right now are probably going, yeah, but what about Trent Dilfer? It's like the fact that you can name like the 4 instances in NFL history where you didn't need a quarterback that was playing really well to win it all shows you how rare it is and how you probably shouldn't bank on that. If you're forced into that situation, do what you got to do, right? Like, hey, Carson Wentz was playing MVP football, then he got hurt. You threw Nick Foles in there and it worked. It's like, yeah, that's a necessity thing. That's not what you're hoping for. We are going to hear from Bryce Young and how he reacted to the joint practices today, but we're up against it. So right now you're getting Tim Donnelly for Capital Financial Advisory Group. There's one good thing my friend, Coach Pete, over at Capital Financial hates. It's financial termites. right? It's when you think your retirement account, your plan for retirement is just growing and growing at the maximum rate, and that whenever you reach retirement, you're just going to be set. But little known to you, those financial termites, maybe a little costs, maybe a little fee, maybe a little commission is coming out of your account, maybe monthly, maybe yearly, and maybe you don't even know what's happening, right? You think the money's just growing and somebody else has their hand in your account. Well, that's where Capital Financial Advisory Group comes into play. Call now and get Coach Pete's famous and elaborate total retirement plan, which includes 22 steps behind the scenes that they do to make sure there is no stone unturned in your financial retirement world. It is all about maximizing your income and securing it against losses, right? Coach Pete is committed to help you retire like a champion, getting you through the financial red zone, over the goal line, and into that retirement end zone with as few surprises as possible. Give him a call, 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215, or you can text my name, Tim, to 600-700. If you do call, make sure you tell them you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan from me, Tim. 800-691-3215 is the number to call. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, more about the Panthers, including cons and cons. We've had a preseason game. We've had a joint practice. What are we most confident in? What are we most concerned about? Stick around.
Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb & Company want you to see football live in Las Vegas. It's our Fan Football Flyaway. Listen weekdays through August 29th. We'll reveal keywords every hour from noon to 6. Text in the keywords to enter for chances to win a trip for two to Las Vegas. We'll fly you to an amazing room at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino, and we'll hook you up with seats for the Carolina-Las Vegas game. The Fan Football Flyaway, only on 99.9 The Fan.
Viva Las Vegas. Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah. Crazy story. I'm at the Nissan end of summer sales event when Laura, the saleswoman, asks, "Want to test drive the Rogue?" I'm like, "Let's go." We're driving when Laura says,
"Want to see something cool? VC turbo engine."
I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Laura goes,
"Check this out."
She shows me the miles per gallon, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive fuel economy.
These new Nissan Rogues are going fast.
I knew I had to have that Nissan Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Nissan Sentra.
Get up to $2,500 total savings on remaining select early model 2024 Rogue Platinum trims. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city 34 highway to 30 city 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. Total savings consists of $1,250 retail customer cash plus $1,250 bonus cash on select remaining 2024 Rogue inventory as available at your local dealership. Select Rogue bonus cash available on 40% of dealers' most aged inventory. Updated weekly. Available on purchase from new dealer stock. Contact your local dealer for current inventory information. Ends 9/3/24.
Where'd y'all go last week?
Well, we've been watching our budget.
So no going out?
Oh yeah, we're going out, just hitting all the specials. First, we hit the House of Hops. That's Jerome's favorite spot. Big savings on Monday and Wednesdays. Mix and match craft beer and 25% off on to-go growlers. Oh, it's a great place to relax.
You know, the Mix has some good specials and they're across the street.
You have to check out their wine tastings once a month and their live music schedule, plus $5 draft beer on Thursdays. Then Saturday, it's Salt and Lime Brunch, and Monday they have $5 margaritas.
Wait, what about Sharky's?
Oh, sweetie, you know Sharky's is special all the time.
So you're just going in a circle. House of Hops, Salt and Lime, the Mix, then Sharky's. House of Hops, Salt and Lime, the Mix, then Sharky's. Sounds like a vicious cycle.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a vicious cycle. More like a wonderful cycle.
Yeah, sounds like a cycle I need to be riding.
House of Hops, the Mix, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Definitely a cycle you should be riding. Hope to see you soon.
Lenny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It it worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Are you ready to rule the realm? With the new Game of Thrones scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can. This epic game gives you the chance to win up to $200,000 instantly, or a trip to beautiful Napa Valley to play the Seven Kingdoms experience, where you could take home your share of up to $7 million in cash prizes. So treat yourself like royalty. Play the Game of Thrones scratch-off today, and let your reign begin. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds are 1 in 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I just read this during the commercial break. Before we get to cons and cons, this is an ACC story, so I think it tracks for being kind of local. Pat Forty of Sports Illustrated, he's been around forever, investigative reporter in the sports journalism world, just put out an article. I haven't been able to read the entire article, but I can give you the tweet headline that he tweeted out. Notre Dame is suspending its men's swimming program for the entire 2024-2025 academic year.
Whoa.
After investigations revealed swimmers created an internal sports book to gamble on their performances.
Oh, gosh.
Now, what I will say is, like, if your swimming team gets kicked off or suspended for a full year because you made a sports book to bet on your own swimming performances, I'm probably going to have jokes about that over the next year or so.
Yeah.
But then he adds, plus other, and the quote is, corrosive culture issues. I want to be clear that I don't know what corrosive culture entails. So if that ends up being a more serious nature, then all jokes not intended about that. My real question is, though, could you bet against yourself to your teammates and then go swim poorly and make money off your teammates?
I mean,
or were you just betting on yourself to do well? In which case, I don't got a problem with, like, if you're telling your teammate, like, hey, I'm gonna set my personal record tomorrow, I'll give you $10, and if I do, you give me $10. I don't have a problem with that at all. That just sounds like a couple of buddies having some motivation, right? The wide receivers. Hey, whoever has the most yards this week picks up dinner. Is that going to get you suspended from the ACC? I don't know.
It might.
Yeah, maybe I should stop talking.
Yeah, it might.
Swimmers, the stereotypical no-gooders of the athletic program,
right?
That's hilarious. I guess there's not a lot to do in South Bend, right? But set up your own sports book for swimming results. That's hilarious. I hope none of them are really too far under water. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
Dude, should have let it breathe for a sec, man. I was
going to try to get out of there quickly.
Yeah.
Wasn't my best, so I was trying to move on. I do like cons and cons, though. That's some of our better stuff.
To play great defense, you need one thing above all else. That starts with a W. Confidence.
Cons and cons. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? Today we're putting the Panthers in the driver's seat, or the judgment seat. We've seen them in the preseason for a game. We've seen them have a joint practice earlier today. We've heard the reports from practice, putting the pads on, 11 on 11s. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? Let's start with concerns, because anytime someone says I have good news and bad news, you always start with the bad news. My concern, and this is, I think it's out in the open. It's now the secondary. Dane Jackson, supposed to be a starting cornerback, 6 weeks roughly with a severe hamstring.
6-ish, emphasis on ish weeks.
Hammies, I hate them. I hate them with a fiery passion. Anytime I see a player go down with a hamstring, I get a little pit in my stomach because I know it's not just what they're like. You break a foot, like a bone, you fracture. You might just get in a cast, might just put it in a walking boot. it's going to be really annoying for like 4, 5, 6 weeks. But then once you're done, you're done. I know once you pop a hammy, it's something you live with for the rest of your life. Once you severely pop a hammy, Dane Jackson, if he has kids, I don't know if he does, is going to be playing in like the high school soccer parents kids game and is going to be terrified of popping a hamstring because it's one of those things that just stays with you forever. And I'm speaking from experience. I tore my hamstring my junior year of high school. Unless it was an actual game where your brain has so much else going on, I don't think I've sprinted since then where I wasn't thinking, is it going to go? It's terrible. Xavier Woods, also dealing with an injury, expected to be out at least a couple of weeks. So that's your starting corner and your starting safety getting pretty darn close to either definitely not being available week 1 or maybe not being available week 1. At the very least, not being super in the rhythm week 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the position, the secondary, that I was already really worried about your depth. Ironically, it was because J.C. Horn is injury-prone that I was worried about the depth. But now it's Dane Jackson on the other side, Xavier Woods in the secondary. I'm concerned that the pass defense might not have a secondary that can help make up for the deficiencies on the defensive line in the edge rushing category.
This is me knocking on wood for J.C. Horn to stay healthy.
Yeah, I'm not a superstitious person, but if you are, I get it. Grab your lucky rabbit's foot, get your horseshoes, do whatever you got to do to do your part to keep the rest of that secondary healthy, because I'm not sure they can sustain much more.
Cross your fingers, whatever it is that you got to do. Now, hopefully, again, Xavier Woods, like you said, it's just a couple weeks, so he should hopefully be ready to go week 1. A little bit more than anticipated, but still not severe, but still soft tissue injuries. Especially those can linger a little bit. But this is the reason why you brought in Nick Scott.
True. Actually, very true.
Yeah.
But also, Xavier Woods is one of the few with a good amount of NFL experience.
Yep.
A good amount of experience in Ejiro Evero's defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not – he's somebody like if he came back Tuesday of game week, I'm not going to be as terrified. There are certain players, if they came back Tuesday of game week, I'd be like, uh-oh. So there's silver linings to Xavier Woods being out, but it doesn't change the fact that he's out, right? That secondary is if I were a coach, it'd be keeping me up at night. What's your concern, Dennis?
Me, it's offensive line depth because their swing tackle they brought in from the Green Bay Packers, Josh Nijman, still is not practicing, hasn't done anything, and is, according to Dave Canales, a ways away from coming back. Wouldn't surprise me if he starts the year on the physically unable to perform list. So he's a ways away from coming back. And then we know Chandler Zavala suffered an injury today, a pretty bad hamstring injury that looks pretty significant according to Canales as well. So right now, with Damian Lewis is working his way back from his shoulder injury, so I think he's going to be fine. But after those first 5, you have Brady Christensen backing up everyone else, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So one of those guys goes down. Okay, Christensen has been a starter. I think he can fill in just fine, but it gets real thin after that. And I know when we talked to Vashti Hurt, that, by the way, that conversation with Vashti is on our YouTube page on here on 99.9 The Fans YouTube page. But she said that once you get past that first group of offensive linemen, ain't a whole lot there. Ain't a whole lot there.
First of all, I was along with you. The Josh Nijman, when Dave Canales updated him, I think it was Monday he gave an update.
Sunday or Monday.
He used the term a long ways from being back. That bit of language stopped me in my tracks a bit because we had been saying, like, to me, Josh Nijman and DJ Wanham were the two that it's like they were brought in and they aren't back yet. But I assume because they were brought in free agency at positions of need, that it was like, yeah, all right, they were aware of the ailment and the recovery time, and they'll be back by week 1. So it's just, Josh Nijman, DJ Wanham, not back yet. Josh Nijman, DJ Wanham, not back yet. And then he said a long ways, and I went, ooh, maybe the yet needs to be taken out of there, right? He's just not back. And we don't know if he's going to be back in time for when he's needed.
We don't know if yet is necessary.
Yeah. Also, I will say this, since both of ours had to do with depth, we could put like 5 or 6 positions on a wheel, spin it, and then just say, that position, depth, I'm worried about it. Tight end depth with all the injuries they're dealing with. A little worried about it. Offensive line, you could break that up into interior, meaning the guards and center, or the tackles. Corner depth, safety depth, edge rusher depth. There's a lot of depth issues on this roster, which use that first waiver priority as well as you possibly can. Pick up some guys that might be contributors.
I told Chris this on Panthers Playbook. New episode
Check it out
today.
99.9 The Fan on YouTube.
And wherever you get your podcast. I told him I feel like there are 4 or 5 guys that are going to be on the 53 that aren't currently in a Panthers uniform.
At least that.
I would say that roughly about that.
Yeah. But by the way, and that's not for the worst team the previous year, you get the first waiver bid, meaning when someone else is cut by another team, you get first choice to decide if you want to bring them onto your team at the current contract that they're on. It's not unusual for the worst team from the previous year to bring in 7, 8, 9 guys off of waivers as camp goes on, because other teams have different strengths than you, right? If another team has a really good corner room, they might keep 4 or 5 legit corners, and their 6th is still better than what the Panthers have to offer, beyond their starters. So you claim those guys every single time. You're 4 or 5 on maybe on the final 53, but you'll bring in 9 or 10, and you might cut them then. That's a benefit that the Panthers have. Confidence. Let's get to the fun part. I thought about going something offensive today because the offense was such of a kind of the talk of joint practices. But I think that would almost, they also didn't score a touchdown in the preseason. So in the preseason game 1, so they're back to neutral for me. I'm going young defenders.
Okay.
And also what that represents. Trevin Wallace had a very good day today.
Mm-hmm.
Made an interception, recovered a fumble. Depending on who you ask, may have forced a fumble, but it was one of those deals where it's a lot of arms and legs in there. Could have been one of 3 guys.
He's around the ball.
He's around the ball, and he's making plays. Getting hands on the ball is vital. Shao Smith-Wade, by the way, Trevin Wallace, 3rd-round pick. Shao Smith-Wade, rookie 5th-round pick, I saw was actually in some one-on-ones and in some 7-on-7 playing outside corner, which is obviously partially because Dane Jackson wasn't there.
It's where he played in college.
His kind of translation to the NFL was always seen as a nickel corner, kind of that slot corner, bumping inside where there's not as much room around you. If you stumbled into a 5th-round pick corner that you had earmarked as the nickel, the slot guy, who in a pinch you can slide outside and can play at least replacement level outside corner, that's a value, right? If you're an NFL outside corner, that's a value. And then Ekuliota, a 25-year-old guy kind of coming out of nowhere, had a very good preseason game 1. This is good for the future. If Dan Morgan and the GM staff or the front office that he's assembled can pick the diamonds out of the rough on defense, that is worth its weight in gold. Because think of what this offseason was. This offseason was priority number 1, help the offense. Priority number 2, help the offense. Priority number 3, help Bryce Young. Priority number 4, help the offense. It was free agency, the draft, so much of it was about getting more weapons, improving the offensive line. If you also can expend your big resources on offense and find contributors on defense, that's a recipe towards being a really good, complete football team. So I like that a 3rd-round pick, a 5th-round pick, a guy like Ekuliota who you seemingly kind of, found. I like that they're flashing, and that bodes well for the development and evaluation process on the defensive side of the ball by that front office.
Yeah, Shao Smith-Wade, by all accounts, has had a really strong training camp.
Just a super solid training camp, which, again, for a 5th-round pick, solid might as well be stratospheric. That's unreal. What's your confidence?
My confidence is that it seems like, based off what I've seen from the practices I've gone to and what we've seen today, there's an improvement in the running game. which is the whole thing that Dave Canales wanted from the get-go, right? Run the football, run the football, run the football. We've seen big pickups in the run game and in the pass game from Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, even Mike Boone popped off for some big runs today. So guess what? Jonathan Brooks doesn't have to rush back. So he can be fully ready to go. And guess what that could be? If you're pushing, week 6, you're sitting there like 2-4 or something like that, 3-3 weeks, week 6, week 7 rolls around. Fresh set of legs that are going to come in there. It can give you that jolt on offense. So to me, the improvement on the running game, now again, this is a lot of it contingent on healthy offensive line, which right now, like one injury might just throw like a complete and total wrench into all this stuff with one injury up front there, just because the lack of depth that they have. But the improvement of their offensive line is vastly increased the production of their running game, and I think that just benefits everyone.
This is going to sound weird, but I actually, I'm rattling it around in my brain. I'm pretty sure I believe it. The worse your offensive line is, the more you want to run the football, right? So if they are to a situation where they're an injury or two and you're putting in some inexperienced guys, it's much easier to ask them to fire off the ball and go hit somebody than it is to decipher a stunt, meaning like a twist or a switch or picks coming your way from like talented edge rushers. So, yeah, if at the beginning of the year you have your starting 5 offensive linemen and you're running your full offensive complement, and then you deal with some injuries, maybe that's right when Jonathan Brooks is getting healthy and coming in, and then you can just look at whatever replacement ragtag offensive line you have in the game and say, fire off, and we're sending the youngster behind you.
Yeah.
Like, go hit somebody.
I remember in 2022, that season, the final year of Matt Rule, when they switched over to Steve Wilkes, I think all 5 offensive linemen started every single game that year
and also,
for the Panthers, which is super rare.
And also, I love that example because there's a large contingent of people that think players just started playing better for Wilkes. I think Wilkes asked them to do the things like, if your offensive line isn't great doing the Matt Rule winger-dinger offense, whatever he was calling, Steve Wilkes came in and said, we're going to give the ball to Deontay Foreman and Chuba Hubbard.
Just pound the rock.
40 times a game, and if the offensive line isn't equipped to do these higher-level things, they'll be equipped to say, hey, I'm going to hit 56, you hit number 97 here, and you go get the middle linebacker, whoever that is, and we're just going to run behind you and try to pick up some yards. There's something to be said for that, and I think Dave Canales has some of that DNA in his play calling.
Sometimes the simple mentality of just block the guy in front of you, and we're going to run to the right. Okay.
Like student body right. Let's go back to 1954.
Hey, sometimes it works.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's Cons and Cons talking Panthers here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly. I promised earlier that we'd play the Bryce Young audio, some of the highlights from his post-joint practice press conference, and we're going to make good on that promise right now. Bryce Young talked about the competitiveness of the team, which is the nice way of saying the trash talk and everything else that was going on, maybe the scuffles going on at joint practices today. Here's Bryce.
I think we started strong. I thought that we did a really good job as a unit I think there was a little lull for us as a unit and us responding to that because, there's going to be lulls throughout games during the season. And I think we've definitely had some urge to some point of emphasis to make sure we fight through that. And, if there's a bad drive, 2 bad drives in a season that we can make sure we rebound from that. I think we did a good job finishing, which is something that Coach Canales says all the time.
I tie what happened today, right? And as you mentioned, bouncing back and learning from your mistakes and being competitive and recognizing that a bad play or a bad stretch doesn't mean a loss. I tie a lot of it to, Dennis, what we were talking about off air. If you haven't watched Camp Confidential, which is the behind-the-scenes training camp YouTube series that the Panthers put out, there's a decent amount of time spent on the relationship between Deontay Johnson, the Panthers' #1 wide receiver, and J.C. Horn, their #1 corner, and how they compete against each other, how they want to come up, one-on-ones against each other. When one beats the other, they talk trash, right? They let them know. They celebrate their win, right? And then they also double back and say, hey, by the way, this is how I beat you. Right? Hey, don't do this. You were trying to get your hands on me, and I was trying. Like, their relationship is very competitive, but also very healthy. And, I always say teams kind of take the image of their head coach and best players. If those guys are very competitive but in the right way, I think that's going to translate to the team as a whole. Bryce Young, I don't know if he's quite a thermostat yet, right? It's a kind of a cliche coaching thing. Are you a thermostat or are you a thermometer, right? You can walk in and tell me like, oh, the room is hot. Or do you walk in as like the thermostat and control the temperature and say, I want it hot, right? I don't know if he's out there doing that yet, but he could definitely fall in line into a really healthy, competitive offensive environment and do what he has to do to keep it up, right? Even the little things, again, in Camp Confidential, there was a part where, Deontay Johnson said, like, all right, we got 2-minute drill next. And Bryce just went, no, you don't. Like, what are you talking about? It's not the 6th-team period yet. And Deontay was like, what are you talking about? We got 2-minute drill. And Bryce looked at him and goes, no, we have team run, then we go to team blitz, then we have team pass. We went over all of it last night. And Deontay looks at him and goes, yeah, you're right. I wasn't paying attention last night. And Bryce went, that's why you have me. He said, that's why I'm here. And it was kind of them joking, but also like Deontay's like, yeah, trust me, there's a lot of reasons why I'm here too. I don't have to know what period's next. I have to go out and win one-on-ones. You're the quarterback. You have to know all the details. Like, it was them all coming together. I like the way the offense is working and kind of building off of each other's strengths. Bryce Young also talked about what he gained from today's joint practice. Again, this is in the press conference after practicing against the Jets. Here's Bryce Young's answer.
Those prolonged periods of getting ones-on-ones, prolonged periods of, people, trying stuff, you get different looks, us getting stuff, obviously preseason for everyone is really vanilla. They weren't, obviously we're working on things. They weren't super complex today, but, they have different calls and stuff like that. We have different calls that, everyone has a preseason plan. And then, obviously there's season stuff, you start game planning. So it's a good opportunity for us to kind of, bring those stuff that maybe you wouldn't show in the preseason just because it's a practice environment.
Did he really say vanilla?
Oh,
the Frank Reich verbiage.
Nope.
Sticking around.
Nope. Don't like it.
But he is 100% right.
Yeah.
You get more ones versus ones reps in a joint practice than you would in a week of against yourself, because the one defense has to go work on other things and have to see other looks, and they can't just get good, meaning the Panthers' number one defense can't just get good at stopping the Panthers' offense, right? So you have to diversify their looks. When you're playing against the Jets, you get as many as you can. And I would argue this. It's not just reps against the ones. It's non-tainted runs, plays against the ones, because they're you get to know your counterparts in training camp really gosh darn well, right? Hey, this wide receiver, when he's about to break out, his right eyebrow twitches. And you will never know that about somebody on your opponent's team, like in week 6. But when you're going up against your own guy every day, 1-on-1s, then 7-on-7, then 11-on-11, then you're staying after to help each other work, you get to know those things.
You learn those tendencies real fast.
That doesn't happen against the Jets, right? It's so, if you get an interception because his right eyebrow twitched and that means he's breaking out, that doesn't actually help you during the season, right? Against the Jets, that's when it's more of a real look. So I'd say more reps against the ones, like he said there, but also untainted reps against the ones. Quickly, before we go to commercial break, Seth Jarvis is a favorite for the Carolina Hurricanes. He is a guy who I think could be an 80-point scorer next year, and he still needs to figure out his contract situation for this upcoming season. We're waiting for it, so here's my daily check. Dennis, have we learned anything about the Seth Jarvis contract?
No.
We'll be back after this with more of The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan.
Is your heating and air system ready for hot weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
Did your mobile provider just increase their prices again? Switch to Spectrum Mobile, the nation's fastest growing mobile provider. With Spectrum Mobile, you get unlimited talk, text, and data, plus nationwide 5G. Switching to Spectrum Mobile has never been easier. We'll pay off your phone balance up to $2,500. Stop dealing with price hikes from your cell phone company. Get Spectrum Mobile. Visit spectrum.com/itpays-to-switch for full details. Offer subject to change. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
You know it's going to be a good day when your biggest concern in the morning is collecting the crumbs falling from the McDonald's crispy chicken biscuit. Your only concern should be, has your day peaked too early?
Start your morning off on a high note when you save on a warm and buttery crispy chicken biscuit for just $2.50. Only at McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Little dolly action. You want to talk about a good pun? You ready for this one? Have the badoomch ready in there, Dennis. So right before I took this job, so about a year ago, as my microphone comes out of its case, we took a family vacation to the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee.
Yeah.
While we were there, right, my parents were kind of, running the show, had all their grandkids there. We went to Dollywood. So now it's become a little bit of a running joke in the family that we're like big Dolly Parton fans. So was it yesterday or the day before? My sister-in-law found a Dolly Parton branded wine. Okay, like bottle of red, right? Bottle of wine. And took a screenshot of it. I must have popped up in an ad, sent it to our family group chat. Like, we got to try this one. And you know what I responded with? Working, wine 2-5. What a way to make a living. Thank you very much. So when you play Dolly Parton coming out of break, you get a weird Dolly Parton pun story from me. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget for this hour, the keyword in our fan football flyaway, touchdown, TOUCHDOWN, one word, text it into 919-860-5326 by 5 o'clock, so in the next 14 minutes, in order to get this hour's entry into our contest to win a trip for two to Las Vegas. where you'll see Carolina play the silver and black. You can obviously take in Sin City. You get the room, you get the flight, you get the whole kit and caboodle. There you go. Fan football flyaway. You have 14 more minutes for the keyword touchdown.
Do it.
Text it in to 919-860-5326. We'll have a new keyword in the 5 o'clock hour. Speaking of puns, we have a new rating system we're introducing today to keep the temperature of Carolina Panthers fans. Inspired by Dave Canales, we have Defcon-ANLES. We have Defcon-ANLES. It's the Defcon-ANLES system. It's like the DEFCON system when it comes to, threats and the warning system issued by the government. Defcon-ANLES. It goes from DEFCON 1 to DEFCON 5. With 1, see, this is what people don't know, and I'm always a little uncertain. So I have it written down now. DEFCON 1 is actually the highest threat level. It seems like when the government goes like, we're moving it to DEFCON 5, that's when we should panic, but it's actually DEFCON 1. So we're calling it the Defcon-nalis system, like DEFCON, but we're throwing Canales on there. And throughout the season, right, big win, or Bryce has a 3-touchdown day, or you take the Chiefs down to overtime, we're probably going to lower that bad boy to DEFCON 5, right? Nothing to worry here. Everybody go about your business. Things are going well. However, you get smoked by the Saints. There's an injury that you can't sustain. There's a 3-interception day. We might have to fire that bad boy up to DEFCON 1. Defcon-nalis 1. It is a system that we're going to use to just track things and make sure that we're not panicking when we shouldn't be, but also make sure that the urgency is heightened when it should be as well. So it's the DEFCON system, but for the Panthers, Defcon-nalis system. That's going to go on throughout the show. And obviously you can send your recommendations, right? You're watching the game on a Sunday afternoon. You see the 3rd turnover. Tweet at us, right? It's got to be DEFCON whatever. Like that's all there. With that being said, we should set the parameters, right? We did this earlier for Duke during 99 questions about the college football season. Ceiling and floor. I think it's an important conversation to have prior to the season for the exact reasons I explained earlier. You don't want to panic when you shouldn't, and you also don't want to gloat when you shouldn't, right? You don't want to rob yourself of happiness. So if you set I'll actually use ESPN's. ESPN put out an article, ESPN.com. You can find it for yourself if you want to. Every team in the NFL, what's their ceiling, what's their floor? And they're talking win-loss record. They put the Panthers' ceiling at 8-9. They put their floor at 3-14. Which I say, so 100% of the time you're improving on last year?
Let's go.
Your floor is 150% of your wins from last season? Obviously being a little jokey there. But I do think it is like it's important to recognize that ESPN thinks 3 wins is on the table for the Panthers this year. They also do not in any way, shape, or form see an above 500 record. They say if everything goes well, your ceiling is 8 wins and 9 losses. So the reason why I bring this up is because if the Panthers win 8 games, I believe you celebrate, right? But if you go into this season with unrealistic expectations where you're thinking 14 wins is in play, you're going to hear 8 wins and go, And you're actually going to rob yourself of some joy because an 8-win season should bring you joy this year. Now, I'll actually go one step further. I think the absolute ceiling for the Panthers is 9 wins. I think if you get above 500, you have maxed out your roster's ability. You've probably had some good injury luck, and you've won a couple 50-50 games that come down the stretch, and it feels like a toss-up, and you need like whoever makes the last play wins. I think that's how you can get to 9 wins. I think above 500 is within the realms of possibility. I would also raise the floor by 1. I think 4 wins is the floor.
Yeah, that seems right.
3 seems a little like they won 2 last year, and I think they're much better this year.
But you never know, injury bug hits you?
I mean, I feel like injuries are always kind of the like qualifier. I think 4. I think 4. I mean, if you can't get 2 of your first 8 and 2 of your last 9, or 2 of your, did I get that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Math is not my strong suit.
That's fine.
I think 4 is the floor. So that, like, set your expectations based on that. Or if you really want to do it honestly, if you want to set your own ceiling and floor, feel free, but then, like, set your expectations there, right? Like, Dave Canales, to me, wins Coach of the Year at 9 wins. I don't think he actually does win Coach of the Year, but he would have my vote at 9 wins.
If they go 9-8 and they win the NFC South, he might get Coach of the Year.
If they win if they win the division with that. But then you need, everybody else to kind of stink also.
That hasn't been a great division. Look at recent history.
But also with expectations like a 4 or 5 win season, I don't think should put them on the hot seat.
No.
I think that's just the bottom of their, like, what their roster might be capable of. You always want to max out all of your talent. A lot of it comes down to luck. The range for me is 4 wins to 9 wins.
That's fair.
Think about how crazy that is, though. Everything that comes into play, right? Everything that comes, every draft pick, every free agent, every player development. Difference between bottom and top is 5 games, right? Sometimes you go into a season, you think it truly is like we could win 17 or we could win 0. And it's like for most teams, it's somewhere in the middle, right? The saying for baseball is every team's going to win 60 games, every team's going to lose 60 games. It's what you do with that middle 60 that decides whether you're the best team in the league or the worst team in the league. I'm looking at the Panthers and I'm going, they're going to lose 8 games and they're going to win 4 games. It's what they do with those others that make this season a tremendous success or a hopefully small step in the right direction, but with significantly less momentum, right? It comes down to those 5 games. And if you look at the schedule, if you really want to dive into it, there's a good chance you can, like, figure out which 8 games are the most important, right? I think we're comfortable chalking up a loss to the Chiefs.
Sure.
Not saying you go into the game and forfeit.
No.
But, yeah, you know what I mean?
Hey, you might catch them sleeping.
Yeah. Philly is probably pretty good.
Probably.
Go get them, right? Go upset them. Don't let me stop you. But I think we're pretty comfortable putting that one down as a loss. It's going to come down to how you perform against the Saints twice. It's going to come down to how you perform against the Bears, Atlanta, Washington, Denver. Like, those are the gettable games that are going to decide your season. Even if you say, like, hey, you should beat Denver. Okay, fine. Count it as a win. There's still, 5-6 games that are going to decide.
I'm on that 5-6 wins. I think is realistic. 5-6 wins for me this year.
If you had to, like, predict.
Yeah, predict.
I thought you were saying 5 for the floor, 6 for the ceiling. I was like, that is specific.
That is one game.
Yeah.
That's literally it. I think 5-6 wins is a realistic expectation.
Yes.
And, if they go above that, awesome.
And then be smart enough to react to the context. Right? If you're sitting here saying 5-6 wins, I think I'm agreeing with you. But, that's not breaking news. I think most of the sports books have them at 5.5. But if, major injury happens week 3, all right, I think I was right with 5 or 6 wins, but they're only going to win 4 because of this. Like, there's context there. You can talk yourself into anything. At least I can. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You have 5 more minutes to text in the word touchdown to 919-860-5326 to get your 4 o'clock entry into our fan football flyaway where someone will win a trip for 2 to Vegas, which will include seeing Carolina play the silver and black. If you get it into the text line before 5, the word is touchdown to 919-860-5326. We'll have a new keyword at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. We will also have the starting 5, including Panthers injury updates, which is really the only downer on the Panthers day-to-day. Stick around.
You heard the perfect scores on air.
Just before the buzzer, that's 5 for 5.
We're bringing those champions to the stage. It's our inaugural Numbers Game Live show, presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Our invitation-only event brings past players together August 21st at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills. Join us on YouTube as we crown a Numbers Game champ. Special thanks to On-Site Audio Visual, supplying the sights and sounds of the Numbers Game Live.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Homeowners, listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted to lows we haven't seen in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner with a 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in the process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. It's a beautiful evening outside. Enjoy it while you can. Tonight, the low 66. It'll be mostly clear, but the humidity starts to climb a little bit Friday. Highs are in the upper 80s. The humidity really climbs over the weekend, but highs stay in the upper 80s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit Newcomb and Company. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 554 points today to 40,563.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The starting 5 is going to have to wait a minute because it's time for our 5 o'clock keyword in our fan football flyaway. Sponsored by the fabulous Mandalay Bay Hotel, Atlantic Spas and Billiards, Buffalo Brothers, and Newcomb and Company. The keyword for 5 o'clock is, build the suspense, the keyword is club, C-L-U-B, club. Text club to 919-860-5326 and enter for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Vegas. I mean, if that was it, that'd be awesome, right? You just had to text in a word, and you'd have a chance to win a trip for 2 to Vegas. But that's not it. It's flight, it's room, it's some money for food, and you get to see Carolina play against the Silver and Black in September. Again, this hour's keyword is club, C-L-U-B. You have to text it in by 6 o'clock to get this hour's entry, and then you'll have to wait for your next possibility until noon tomorrow during the Adam Gold Show. So the keyword is club for right now. The number to text it in, 919-860-5326, and you could be having a pretty sweet little weekend in Vegas on us.
I mean, I want to go.
I know
but
we're not
can't
eligible.
win.
I know we're not eligible to win. Could we be the plus one?
I mean,
if whoever won wanted to bring us.
I mean, that's on them.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I won't say no to it.
Again, the keyword club, text it in 919-860-5326, and listen for the next keyword tomorrow during the noon hour during the Adam Gold Show. Now we can jump into the starting 5, starting with number 5. Let's hit the Panthers injury updates. Let's get them out of the way. I think we've been rightfully but extremely optimistic and positive about the Panthers today. So let's take this number 5 in the starting 5, hammer out some of the bummer news about injuries, and then we can move on to more of the fun stuff. The one that I think is the most gut-punchy of them all, Dane Jackson. Corner, brought in to start opposite of J.C. Horn. He's a guy who Dan Morgan has a history with from prior stops. He's going to be out 6 weeks, according to Ish, right? These are all estimates.
Key part of that, the ish. 6-ish.
They're all estimates at this point, especially a hamstring. Anything soft tissue is not like, start the clock. It's, 6 weeks, and we'll check in again in 2 weeks, and we'll check in again in 2 weeks, and we'll see. But it was called, quote, pretty significant, which is not how you want hamstring injuries to be described. And then the other side of things, right, because obviously you just don't want the player to get hurt. Injuries stink, is corner was not a position that could sustain an injury.
No.
It was one of the handful, maybe even couple, of positions where they could least afford an injury. Now you have J.C. Horn on one side, as long as he's healthy, write it in pen. That field, or I guess field side corner, because if you paid attention to Camp Confidential, J.C. Horn kept telling all the wide receivers they didn't want to see him on the boundary, which did tip off that J.C. Horn's going to be the boundary corner this year for the Carolina Panthers, most likely. So that field side outside corner, I mean, we're looking at, do you bump Troy Hill out?
Mm-hmm.
Do you give somebody like Deshaun Jameson a chance who's made a couple plays? Is it the youngster in Shao Smith? Wait, like I don't know if anyone's more likely. They all seem unlikely. It's a tough spot to be.
By the way, for those who are wondering, like, what do you mean by field and boundary? So if the ball is lined up on the right hash mark, the sideline closest to where the ball is lined up, that is considered the boundary area. The far sideline is considered the field side. That's a football lingo for you all out there.
Lamar Jackson, the corner for the Panthers, may get a shot.
Not the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens.
DiCaprio Boodle, not Leo. They've. It's a tough one to replace, Dane Jackson, and to start your year, because with 6-ish weeks being the deal, you're looking at weeks, probably at best week 3. Starting your season already kind of with one of your dependent upon players not available is going to be a tough spot for that defense. So that one stinks. Other injury updates, Xavier Woods with a groin is out a couple of weeks. He's a safety.
Mm-hmm.
If that becomes a week 1 questionable, I will hate that because Xavier Woods is necessary to that secondary. He's a leader out there. He's been around from last year. That's one I don't like hearing. Others, if you want I'll give one more, Dennis, and then you can run through the nuts and bolts of the rest.
Okay.
If you want a advertisement for staying flexible and pliable and avoiding injuries,
mm-hmm.
go watch what happened to Chuba Hubbard today.
Whew. That looks scary.
Chuba Hubbard, running back, caught a pass from Bryce Young, big play, flying down the middle of the field, matches up with Jet safety Chuck Clark, and loses his footing at the last possible second. There's a little slip right before contact, which put him in an awkward position as Chuck Clark hit him. His knee bent away that I don't know. Like, obviously, reportedly, all the scans and everything have been done on Chuba Hubbard, and he's avoided anything serious. I can tell you if that was my knee, we're talking like, they might have to amputate it with everything that would have popped and ripped and shredded with that amount of flexibility. He folded like a lawn chair and then walked off under his own power and ended up being okay. So that one was the good news of the injuries, because you see the film and you're like, oh gosh, he's donezo. Turns out he's mostly okay.
Do your yoga, folks.
Do your hot yoga. Get in there, sweat it out, and stretch it out. What else is going on in the injury front?
Chandler Zavala, who people know from NC State, suffered a hamstring injury today that reportedly is pretty significant, according to Dave Canales. He was actually working in that left guard spot where Damian Lewis, who they signed as a free agent, has been working his way back from a shoulder injury. So an already thin position just got even more thin. That's one. Xavier Legette and Shaq Thompson have been back at practice. Xavier Legette had his first practice with the team yesterday since his foot injury. Didn't really do the 11-on-11 or 7-on-7 stuff today just because soreness from working his way back in. Same thing with Shaq Thompson, working his way back from a hamstring injury. Jadeveon Clowney did not practice today. I'm not entirely sure why. I think it just might be like, hey, you're a vet.
That day.
You don't need to do it. But also Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver they traded for from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mild growing strain, just a kind of day-to-day. Didn't need to push it today, which makes total sense. Which should be all right.
That is a full rundown of the injuries, and that is number 5. Let's get to number 4.
We are the 4 horsemen. Woo!
Matthew Judon traded to the Falcons.
Yeah.
Now, I am not upset that the Panthers did not make a move for Matthew Judon. I didn't think they should, and I said as much on the show yesterday, the day before, one of those days.
Judon of the New England Patriots.
Edge rusher, 31 years old, productive, good player. Last year of his contract, wanted more money. Now he goes to the Falcons, who I presume will have to give him more money once he's there and signed. I'm aware that the Panthers should not be in the buying market for Matthew Judon. It would have been nice to see him not go in the division, though.
Yeah.
The Falcons are gearing up. And, oh, by the way, they also signed former Broncos Pro Bowl safety Justin Simmons today to a 1-year, $8 million deal.
Oh, the Falcons did?
The Falcons did.
Oh, good for them.
The Falcons are kind of all in for this year.
Oh, they're gearing up.
Which makes the Michael Penix pick even crazier, because they keep making all of these moves, all in, paying a veteran quarterback $100-some million. They're bringing guys in on 1-year deals, big money deals. Like, they are all in for this year, and then they drafted a guy who probably won't see the field for 2 or 3 years, and Michael Penix. And that could have been so many really good players. Could have been somebody like Brock Bowers, but neither here nor there. The Falcons are becoming the, every good movie needs a villain. They're becoming the NFC South villain. They're becoming the one who they're going to be picked. They're going to be favorited. They're going to be the ones with the highest win total in the sports books. They're going to be the ones that you need to give your best shot to. And that's no disrespect to the Bucs or the Saints. That's just calling a spade a spade. They've added a lot of talent. And the offense is going to get the headlines, right? It's just how it's going to go, because that's what offense is. But if you look at their defense, it's now Matthew Judon, Justin Simmons, Jesse Bates, who's a really good player, picked off Bryce a couple times last year. A.J. Terrell, the corner, that's a good player.
From Clemson.
Grady Jarrett, that's a good defensive lineman. David Onyemata, that's another good defensive lineman. They've got some dudes over there in Atlanta. With the acknowledgement that, acquiring and assembling a bunch of dudes doesn't always add up, they're giving it a go.
The Atlanta Falcons have not had a defensive player get double-digit sacks since 2016, Vic Beasley. Former Clemson
I was going to say, another Clemson guy.
Have not had a double-digit sack guy since 2016. Ironically, they went to the Super Bowl.
Oh, geez. That feels like that was 28-3 year.
Yep.
That feels like a really long time ago.
Because it was.
Wow, that is surprising. Here's the rub of it all. You're not going to have like the worst conference in football every year. Teams are going to try to get better, and the Falcons are doing it. The Panthers just have to know if and when they want to take over the division, if and when they want to start winning divisions and being a Super Bowl contender, there's going to be teams in their way. This year, one of the teams in their way, it's the Falcons. Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I mean, eventually, if you take enough top 10 offensive skill position players, something's going to work, right?
You would assume.
That's number 4. Let's jump to number 3.
1, 2, 3.
The United States men's national soccer team has a new coach. Mauricio Pochettino has agreed to become the new United States coach with the responsibility of leading the team into the 2026 World Cup, sources told ESPN on Thursday.
All right, let's go. Let's go win this thing. We're on home soil. Let's go.
We are on home soil. True. Do you know what I like about this? By the way, if you want like in-depth, like, oh, this is the system he runs and these are the type of players that thrive under his coaching, A Gold fan on Twitter. It's Adam Gold.
Yep.
That's the soccer expert on our network. I do not pretend to be. But I do kind of have an understanding of, generic sports vibes. And I like that the announcement came with he's our guy for the 2026 World Cup. Like this, it reminds me of like when the United States men's basketball national team started making players commit like 2 years in advance for the Redeem team, where it was like, we're not throwing anything together here. We're building a program with the idea of performing well in major national competitions. Mauricio Pochettino is committed to being the guy that assembles everything in 2026, which means like you're not coaching for your job now. You're assembling things. You're finding continuity. You can audition things. You can try different combos. You need to find what works with the United States men's national team talent pool, and you have 2 years to do it, or a little less than 2 years to do it. Get to work, right? All I keep hearing is that the rest of the world cares so much more about soccer, and that's why we're never going to catch up. Heck, we can still watch American football on Sundays, and meanwhile, in the background over the next 2 years, making sure we're putting together a good soccer team. Because I'm as casual of a soccer fan as they come, but I love watching the World Cup. I love watching, especially the United States in the World Cup. I remember where I was when Landon Donovan scored the game winner against Algeria to send us out of the group play and into the knockout rounds. I believe that was in 2010.
He roofed that shot.
Clint Dempsey was involved. It was a good day. Tim Howard. That was a fun group. Let's get another one of those together. Mauricio, who, by the way, if you're wondering, he is Argentinian.
All right. They play good soccer down there.
It'll never make sense to me that soccer has so many national teams coached by people from other countries.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a job for them, so they're going to work hard because they want to do a good job. Maybe less national pride. More, I want to continue to get paid, I guess. It just seems like if you had an American coaching the American teams or an Argentinian coaching the Argentinian team, you'd have like a better pregame speech. Be like, tears in your eyes, right? Red, white, and blue. I don't know if he's going to give you that speech. It's going to be more tactical, I guess. That's number 3. Let's jump to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Drake Maye plays tonight.
He does.
The preseason continues with the Patriots and Eagles tonight. I've said this multiple times. I will say it once again. I hope Drake Maye gets a whole bunch of snaps.
According to Albert Breer, Monday Morning Quarterback, he said after playing just one series last week, Patriots quarterback Drake Maye is set to see a lot more action tonight. The plan, I'm told, this is Albert Breer's words, is to have Jacoby Brissett play the first quarter, Maye play the second quarter, and into the third Joe Milton to go in the third and play into the fourth, and Bailey Zappi to finish things off.
This is not an insult to Jacoby Brissett and State fans. You don't have to come to his defense. What are you trying to learn about Jacoby? Like, what does he need to the guy's been in a million different situations. First quarter, second quarter, and if you want to go into the third, that's fine. Drake Maye. I mean, if and by the way, part of the reason they claimed they didn't play him more, meaning didn't play Drake Maye more in the first game, is because they didn't want him in the game with the second team offensive line. That's fine. Play him with the first team offensive line on the first drive rather than Jacoby Brissett, because for all of, and I'm a big Jacoby Brissett fan, I think he is great for teams that need a guy to come in, be a pro, make plays. Like, ceiling might not be there, but he's a legit starting quarterback in the NFL. You know what he is, right? And you didn't just draft him third overall and bank the entire future of your franchise on him. It's got to be a Drake Maye night. I have this stat in front of me. First round draft rookies since 2021, Drake Maye played the fewest snaps in their preseason opener, with the caveat being not including Caleb Williams because his preseason opener was the Hall of Fame game, which really doesn't count. He played 20 snaps in his first game. Drake Maye played 7. 7. It's less about series and more about experience. And what I mean by that is Drake Maye played 7 snaps. He threw the ball 3 times. I want to get him a varied amount of pass plays, and I want to see him make decisions, right? If they call a play that requires some kind of pre-snap decision by the quarterback, I like that, right? If you get him a third down, I like that. If you get him a drop back pass traditional, a movement pass, a play action pass, you don't have to bring out every trick in your tool bag, right? You don't have to bring out every single play in the playbook, but get him running every kind of play that you want to use. Like, this is a player who has no NFL experience, and you are telling him he's not good enough to start week 1, even though the other 2 quarterbacks drafted in the first round have been given full-voiced support to start week 1 from their franchises, right? Caleb Williams is the dude. Jayden Daniels is the dude. Drake Maye hasn't gotten that. Let him go try to earn it, right? If you're telling me he's not good enough to start week 1, he's not ready to start week 1, let him go get ready. I don't want to say this because it sounds awful to say out loud. Who cares if he's hurt, if he's your backup, right? What I mean by that is, like, you don't play your starters in preseason to protect your starters because you need them to start and play a lot once the regular season starts. As long as Jacoby Brissett is healthy, they're not planning on playing Drake Maye week 1. So if he's in pads or not in pads week 1, barring an injury to Jacoby Brissett, it doesn't change things. He's tough. He's mobile. Let him play. I think it's important, right? Experience. I saw Bill O'Brien was quoted this. He was like, I don't know, I think you got to get better. And he was talking about Drake Maye, right? Because I guess it's the connection to being the offensive coordinator for the Patriots, which he was. He's like, I don't know, I think you got to play football to get ready to play football. Right? It's not basketball where you can go play pickup and get like a really fast ball look. Can't go to Lifetime Fitness and figure out how to play football. You got to do it in the few opportunities they give you to actually play. So I'll be watching. I guess in the second and third quarter when we might see Drake Maye. Nonsense. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
The one!
Panthers joint practice this morning. We told you about the injuries. Now we're going to tell you about the action on the field. It was a good day for the Panthers. It was a good day. It was a good day. It was a good day. Bryce Young made plays, threw touchdowns. Terrace Marshall Jr., Jonathan Mingo made plays as receivers. Chuba Hubbard made plays. The offensive line, I wouldn't say was perfect. They weren't a turnstile, right? Small victories, steps in the right direction. The defense went back and forth with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson in that offense. Players made plays. This is today, this is what it is, okay? And I'm not just saying this to be a homer. I'm not just saying this because, I feel like Panthers fans have been beat up enough and everyone's craving optimism. This was the first time it truly felt like the fresh start had taken place. Right? When Dave Canales came in and Dan Morgan took over and they really turned over the roster and all of this we were sold the promise of a fresh start, right? We flushed last year. This is a fresh start. That's what we were promised. And then during the preseason, meaning like the practices, the optimism was there, but there was always a but. And then the first preseason game came, and it was the starters aren't playing, and the offense isn't moving the ball, and Jack Plummer's struggling, and there were drops from the receivers, and it was like, this doesn't feel all fresh and new as of yet. Today, they went up against the Jets, and it felt different. And we had Vashti Hurt on the show earlier today, the editor-in-chief of Carolina Blitz. She was in attendance today, and I loved one of the things she said, which was she's been in person, they're present for each of the last 4 joint practices, even the ones on the road, right? She was in Indy for the joint practices. And she said this one was different, right? She said the others kind of indicated what we should expect during the regular season.
Yeah.
And that's the nice way of saying the team looked like a team that wasn't going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
And then she said today wasn't that, right? That's the fresh start that I think so many people have been craving, right? The sign that the future isn't going to be the same as the past. And does that mean they've solved everything? No. Does that mean Bryce Young isn't going to make any mistakes? Absolutely not. It just means that today was a big step towards building confidence, towards making people not worry, towards, I always say when you're really tense, your back muscles tighten up. It felt like a lot of people on the Panthers today, their shoulders dropped a little bit, and there was just like a, whew, right? All right, we can do this. All right, things are different. All right, the Jets are one of the top 10 betting favorites to win the Super Bowl, and we were out there at least matching them, and at times getting the better of them. At times they got the better of us, but, good teams do that to each other. Did you hear what I just did? I said good teams, plural. That means the Jets and the Panthers. I just identified the Panthers as a good team. I didn't do that intentionally, right? That's just something that happens when you have a day like today, when it's not all explanations. I feel like I've been the context guy for the Panthers since I took over this job. It's been a lot of they didn't play well, but right?
Because
yeah, here's the reason why it might not look like they're doing great. Here's the reason why they've been held back from improving. Here's the reason why Bryce Young isn't keeping up with C.J. Stroud. And there's all of these reasons. Today, hey, here's the reason why they look good. That's refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
That's new.
I think that's what has Panthers fans so excited. Like, oh, wait a second. Hold on.
Yeah,
there's something shiny. I don't see shiny very often. There's a shiny thing.
At least it's a different shade of whatever. Like it's just something new, and I want to appreciate it almost, right? Coaches after wins, they're always like, appreciate every win, celebrate every win, enjoy it with your family tonight, back to work on Monday. Like when you've been as rough as the Panthers have been over the last 13, 14 months, I almost want to do that just for a good practice. It was a really good joint practice. Enjoy it, celebrate it, right? It's hard to win in the NFL. It was a good day. And the players that stood out, if you're looking for specifics, Trayvon Wallace, 3rd-round linebacker, intercepted Aaron Rodgers, made a few other plays getting his hand on the ball. The wide receivers that I mentioned, Marshall Jr. and Mingo had good days. Bryce Young had a good day. Bryce Young, Deshaun Jameson, a young player in the secondary, had a good day. There's something to build off of today, and I don't want to take that for granted for the Panthers. There's something to build off of. Now take the next step, right? Put 2 days like that together. Now take the next step, build off of it.
Go do it again.
Go do it again. Sounds so easy, right? All right, go do it again. People are going to be waking up, eating the same breakfast, putting on the same undershirts. Like
I'm having that same bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Going right back to the baseball. I haven't washed my hat in 2 years because my ERA is low. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need some numbers game contestants. And to do that, you have to go ahead and call in right now, 919-860-5326. For your chance to win a $25 gift card to Sharky's Place. If you win the numbers game, you get the gift card to Sharky's Place. Sharky's with back-to-back-to-back-to-back wins for best wings in the Triangle, voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharky's. 2 contestants. Call in now, 919-860-5326. That's 26. We'll be back with the numbers game next.
Get ready for the ultimate football fan experience. Hey, it's Victoria Boatnecker here for 99.9 The Fan. Join us at Buffalo Brothers on Lake Boone Trail in Raleigh this Friday, August 16th from 6 to 7:45 p.m. Enter for your chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas to see Carolina take on Vegas with a 3-night stay at Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino and a $400 food credit. Again, that's Buffalo Brothers on Lake Boone Trail this Friday. I'll see you there.
Longer days mean longer rides. Make sure your bike, your ATV, your side-by-side, even your golf cart are the best around. From sound station and security, we've got custom stereo systems, custom speakers, even video and LED lighting options for your bike, your ATV, and even your golf cart. Look the coolest on the road or at the lake, just tooling around. All available with installation from sound station and security with 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Hey, John. Why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Navy Federal Credit Union is back with more eligibility. Now you can hear all your favorites like, my brother's a veteran, I get amazing rates. My mom served, I get 24/7 member support. Grandpa was a soldier and now I'm a member. And who could forget, thanks to my father who served in the military, I'm now eligible for incredible member benefits. Call 1-855-800-2102 or visit NavyFederal.org today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have a $25 gift card to Sharky's Place on the line, and the contestants are JB in Youngsville and Bear in Clayton. I have a question for you to see who goes first. And Dennis, once again, you'll be the judge on this one.
Okay, no pressure.
Because you're more musical than I am.
All right.
JB in Youngsville, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. I don't know if you saw it, but Dave Canales, the head coach of the Panthers, participated in the rookie tradition of rookies have to go in front of the team and sing a song and see if they get cheered or booed. If you were a rookie in the NFL, he sang Bob Marley, Three Little Birds, just as an example. If you were a rookie on an NFL team and the veteran said it's your day to go down front and sing a song, what song are you singing and why?
Born This Way by Lady Gaga.
All right.
I respect it. Okay. All right.
I mean, I did not see that one coming. We'll go to Bear and Clayton. Bear, you are up next. Same question. It's your NFL rookie day. The veterans are saying you have to go down front and sing a song. What song are you singing?
I'd probably go Bodies by Drowning Pool.
Bodies by Drowning Pool. Dennis, those are the two options you have. JB says Lady Gaga. Bear says Bodies by Drowning Pool.
I mean, I got to go Lady Gaga.
All right.
I got to go Lady Gaga on this one.
She performed at the Olympics.
She did.
For some reason, France invited her. JB, that means you get to go first. Bear, don't worry. You'll have your chance to participate. You just got to wait a little bit. JB, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories for you to choose from are NFL Fork Union Military Academy guys, all players that spend some time at Fork Union Military Academy. NFL, Can We Get a Deal? These are all players looking for a contract right now in the NFL. NBA Current Players Only or NHL Canes and Whalers Only?
I might have to go with NBA.
All right. NBA Current Players Only. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. DeAndre Ayton, Portland Trailblazers.
25.
Incorrect. DeMar DeRozan, Chicago Bulls.
Pass.
Dennis Schroeder, Brooklyn Nets.
13.
Incorrect. DeAndre Ayton, Portland Trailblazers.
8.
Incorrect. DeMar DeRozan, Chicago Bulls.
11.
Correct. Marcus Smart, Boston Celtics. 11 was a good pull on DeMar DeRozan. Marcus Smart, if that's what you were guessing for there at the end, he wore number 36 with the Celtics. Dennis Schroeder wore number 17 with the Nets. And DeAndre Ayton with the Blazers is number 2. You did get the DeMar DeRozan correct to avoid being shut out. So sit on the line and we'll see if if one answer holds up. By the way, number 11, a sneaky number. A lot of NBA players like number 11. One time in the locker room back in college, we got in an argument on what numbered jersey would win if every player on the team had to wear that number. And we barred 3 and 23 because there's too many of them. Came down to 9 and 11. You wouldn't think of those as like main basketball numbers, but they were really good numbers when you add them all up. That brings us to Bear and Clayton. Bear, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL Fork Union Military Academy guys, NFL Can We Get a Deal, and NHL Canes and Whalers Only.
NFL Can We Get a Deal?
All right, these are all players looking for a new contract. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. Any last-second questions?
No.
All right, you need 2 to get the win, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Jamar Chase, Cincinnati Bengals.
1.
Correct. CeeDee Lamb, Dallas Cowboys.
88.
Correct. Ryan Tannehill, Tennessee Titans.
17.
Correct. Alvin Kamara, New Orleans Saints.
41.
Correct. Trent Williams, San Francisco 49ers.
71.
Correct. We have a 5 for 5, ladies and gentlemen. And there were no mistakes there. How quick was that?
18 seconds.
18. Is that close? I don't know what the record is.
Oh, that might be. That might be close. I gotta go. We're gonna go check the history books on this one.
I mean, that is flying. JB, congratulations. Just throwing a horn out there?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a 5 for 5. You are the winner. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's Bear.
Oh, it's Bear. Sorry, I got so excited. I got confused.
JV's over here like, what?
Bear, congratulations. You are the winner.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's like the announcer that messed up the 100-meter dash call and gave the wrong winner. I just did the same thing. I said the Jamaican won when it was Noah Lyles the whole time. Man, that's my bad, Bear. Congratulations, a perfect score, a 5 for 5. I don't know if that gets you an invite to our numbers game live now.
I think we've already had that cutoff happen.
You might, assuming we do it a second year, you might get that invite. But congratulations, 5 for 5.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis will get the info he needs to make sure you get your $25 gift card to Sharkies.
By the way, our last 5 for 5 came on July 30th. So about 2.5 weeks ago was our last perfect 5 for 5.
Felt longer than that. Sharkies with back-to-back wins for best wings in the triangle. Voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharkies. You heard us talking about the numbers game live. The cutoff may have happened, so that perfect score right there may have to go towards next year's numbers game live. But over the first year of numbers game, we had plenty of perfect scores, and we're bringing all those champions, all those perfects, all those 5 for 5s together, and only one will win. It's our inaugural numbers game live show presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. It's an invitation-only event that brings together past players with perfect scores, and it's all happening next Wednesday, or this upcoming Wednesday, I guess would be the better way to say that, August 21st at the Hilton Raleigh in North Hills. Join us on YouTube. You can take in, you can play along, right? You can comment, you can have some fun with us on YouTube Live. May even have some surprises for the YouTube listeners. Join us on YouTube as we crown a numbers game champ. Special thanks to On-Site Audio Visual, supplying the sights and sounds of the numbers game live. The night will be full of prizes and surprises. August 21st, the numbers game live at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills. Yeah, a 5 for 5 just gets you jacked up. Getting all the 5 for 5s in the same room, it's going to be pretty sweet. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly for Miller Lending, home of the no-cost loan. But also, right, I've been emphasizing the flexibility of getting your mortgage through Miller Lending. I also want to emphasize just the upfront nature, right? You may hear somewhere else, our rates are lower than Miller's rates, but my favorite way to explain it is that's like an airline telling you their ticket is cheaper without telling you that they have a fee to use the bathrooms, they have a fee for your carry-on bag, a fee for your checked bag, a fee to not have a 4-hour layover in Dallas, a fee if you don't want to be strapped to the outside of the plane, right? All those fees add up, and then by the end, you look at the ticket prices and you're like, your ticket was actually way more expensive. You just tricked me, right? So Miller's rates, sure. You might find someone else with a lower rate, but what they're not telling you is there's third-party fees, there's closing costs, there's all of this additional money that you have to pay a lot of times out of your pocket that you don't have to pay at Miller's, right? The no-cost loan means no cash out of your pocket. Keep that in mind. And give them a call. 919-447-3377. That's the number, 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, I have a question for all of you. Will we ever become accustomed to the giant name, image, and likeness money going out in college sports? Because some more eye-popping numbers came out over the last few days. Stick around.
Dauntless Transmissions has been the trusted transmission shop in Raleigh for more than 27 years. The experts at Dauntless Transmission are dauntless when it comes to caring for your vehicle. Whether that means a total transmission rebuild, complex engine or brake service, or just a routine tune-up, your vehicle will be dauntless when they're done with it. Visit DauntlessTransmissions.com. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Dauntless is currently looking for skilled auto technicians to join the Dauntless team. Visit DauntlessTransmissions.com/careers to apply.
That's a deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money. I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get up? Juicy double patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow. Yeah, McDonald's don't miss. Yeah, order the app or the drive-through quick. Yeah.
Want to score points with your boss? Recruit RoofWorks to your building maintenance team to handle your commercial roofing needs. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. We've helped hundreds of Triangle businesses with their commercial roof maintenance, repairs, and if necessary, total replacements. Our pros come to your site, assess your roofing needs, and then give you a range of options to fit your budget. And we'd love to work with you. For roof maintenance and repair, contact us today at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
You know, it only takes one bad decision to change your life. And riding after drinking can be one of those. It can lead to impaired reflexes, poor judgment, and then disaster. Think about it. Even one drink affects your ability to ride. Alcohol can limit your reaction time and give you a false sense of confidence. You think it'll never happen to you, but it can. So, if you hit the bottle, don't roll the throttle. Brought to you by NHTSA.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Adam Gold here from my friend Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK, and I want to talk to those of you who are contact lens wearers. I'm sure you are tired of wasting time and money every day putting contacts in, taking them out, cleaning, ordering new ones, glasses, prescription sunglasses. I could go on, but let me just tell you about Dr. Lori Travers, the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle. She has the answers to your questions, and it takes less than 5 minutes per eye. Dr. Lori will put you on the path to 20/20 vision. It's totally painless. Could go back to work the very next day. 2 years, 0 interest financing is available. The hard part is that you have to call 919-510-6830, or I guess you could go online, traverslasik.com. Free consultation there. Get your vision 20/20. Hindsight is 20/20 if you don't call. 919-510-6830. 919-510-6830. Travers LASIK.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump into just more eye-popping numbers in the name, image, and likeness market, I want to let everybody know that it is National Shooting Sports Month. And in honor of that, text RIVER, R-I-V-E-R, to 919-860-5326 to enter for a chance to win a $50 gift card and celebrate with your friends at Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School.
Nice.
Learn more on deepriversportingclays.com. It is it's an appropriate way to celebrate National Shooting Sports Month.
Mm-hmm.
Is over there at Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School, and even better with a $50 gift card, which you can win if you text in RIVER, R-I-V-E-R, to 919-860-5326.
Perfect Saturday morning activity, especially when the temperatures cool down. Perfect Saturday morning activity before all the football kicks off.
I was just gonna say it's
perfect.
The waiting for the games to start is kind of like when you have a wedding at like 4 and you're just like, well, what am I gonna do with these first? I can't really do much, but it's like, yeah, go out to Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School, and then you'll blink, you'll have some fun, and it'll be game time. That's kind of how it works. With that being said, if you want to, I don't know, a lot more than $50. I guess it's to be like a 5-star recruit in college football.
Yeah, seriously.
When will this not shock us?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've no less than 15 times over the last 6 months, somebody has told me how much a college football player is making or how much they were offered, and I've gone no way. Oh my gosh, I can't even comprehend. When is it going to become normal? I have an easier time hearing that an NFL quarterback is going to get $53 million per year than I do hearing that a 5-star recruit's going to get $600,000. That to me, I'm oh my, what? My brain can't work it. And then they're by the way, Jordan Love has played 8 good games and he's the highest paid player in NFL history. I'm oh, that makes sense. He's next up, right? It's really not who's best. It's whoever's next in the NFL. When is it going to become normal? Josh Petty is going to Georgia Tech. He is a 5-star offensive lineman, first 5-star in Georgia Tech in a very long time.
Maybe ever.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Calvin, but he may have just been a high 4-star. It's been a long time if it hasn't been, if it's not first and forever. There are reports out there that he has a $800,000 per year deal tied to him being on that Georgia Tech roster. That's $800,000 per year. We're looking at over $3 million if he stays for 4 years.
Yeah, that was Pete Nakos of On3 was reporting that.
That is a massive amount of money. But then part of me also wants to say, if you're filling stadiums every Saturday and thousands, if not millions of people are watching you on television, and if your team wins, there's massive financial implications of that happening. They should be getting paid. I wrap my brain around that. But then at the same time, I'm going $800,000 a year for a never played college football offensive lineman?
Yeah, he's a senior in high school now.
Let me try that again. That was a little better. Yeah, it was even better. You're good at that.
Thank you.
Then I'm reading, again, On3 was reporting this. Colorado State University has a quarterback named Braden Fowler Nicolosi.
Okay.
And a wide receiver named Torrey Horton.
All right.
Torrey Horton was a ESPN All-American preseason pick. Braden Fowler Nicolosi was the guy that threw it to Torrey Horton as he became that last year.
All right.
I would say solid stats for the quarterback, very good stats for the wide receiver. They did not hit the transfer portal. They were both offered $600,000 to hit the transfer portal. They declined and chose to stay at Colorado State. Now, $600,000 for solid but not spectacular quarterback stats at Colorado State. Now, they did have good games against Colorado, which was a game everybody was watching. If you remember, it was the game that went to 2 a.m. and had the best ratings, and it was peak Deion Sanders mania. So these guys they're in the public lexicon a little bit, but $600,000. It really makes me wonder how much some of the truly proven big names in college football are going for. Somebody like Barrett Carter at Clemson, who is a All-ACC pick, All-American pick, and probably could have been one of the first off-ball linebackers in the draft. What does he make to stick around? Somebody like Casey Concepcion, right? Do you want a list of people in college football history that have had 800 receiving yards, 300 rushing yards, and 10 touchdowns in the same season? Which, by the way, is exactly what Casey Concepcion did last year. 800 receiving yards, 300 rushing yards, and 10 touchdowns. It is Casey Concepcion and Curtis Samuel at Ohio State. End of list. If he were to hit the transfer portal, what would that be worth?
A lot.
Well, if millions? Are we talking millions? And why does my voice still go up when I say it? Why am I still surprised? Why can't I just say, that'd be worth millions, right? If Brandon Ayuk plays out his contract with the Niners and hits the open market, I'm not going to be sitting here going what is he worth? $30 million? Oh, my goodness. No, I'm going to be yeah, if you want Brandon Ayuk on your team, you're going to have to make cap space to pay him $30 million a year. There's going to be a point where this name, image, and likeness stuff is no longer eye-popping. We are not there yet. Every time I hear about a player changing teams, my first thought is, how much did they make? And my next thought is, oh my goodness, that's so much money. They're filling stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
There's massive media rights deals. There's now merch, which, by the way, I saw NC State and other schools have done this in the past. I'm not saying they're the first, but the program, like the actual football program, can now set up an online store.
Yes.
Where you can buy like shirtsies and branded things that the players will actually get cash out of, right? So you go buy a T-shirt that says like Grayson McCall on it with the mullet, he can actually get paid off of that, and it's officially through the school. Like, if people are willing to buy your shirt, you should get money for your shirt. You know what I mean? But it's still like every time, and I'm not even talking about like like I'm tired of people, oh my gosh, this player's driving around in a Lamborghini. It's 100% a name, image, and likeness deal done with the Lamborghini dealership. That's not what I'm talking. I'm not talking about the looks like they have a lot of money. I'm talking about like they have $500,000 in a bank account and they haven't played in a college football game yet. That's what blows my mind. You have a cool lifted truck that a local dealership leases you for the years you're a starter. That doesn't impress me as much as like, I have $800,000 in the markets, and I'm trying to set myself up for an early retirement, whether I make it to the NFL or not. Like, that's what impresses me. And there are a lot of guys, if they handle it correctly, that'll be right in that same situation.
And I hope they do.
Or I bought a house on campus and I'm renting it out to 4 grad students, and it's making me money. Like that's the
investment property.
Like that's the kind of stuff that is like gonna happen pretty quickly here, and it's gonna blow my mind.
It might. It 100% might.
I live in it, and I have 3 roommates paying me rent. It's my house that I bought. Wowzers. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we bounce, Dennis Cox has something for you.
Great news for you homeowners out there. Mortgage rates are tanking. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. My friends at Loan Pronto have rates that start with a 4. This is the best rate in years, folks. Listen, if your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto has locked in folks recently at 4.99% APR. I'll say that one more time. Loan Pronto has locked in folks recently at 4.99% APR. Whether you got your loan last week, last month, even last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now and call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now, folks. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in a matter of minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, is coming to a close. However, to start off Overdrive, we are going to give you the first segment of the show. And I have to say, one of the more fun segments I've gotten to do.
Panthers are going to the Super Bowl? Is that what you're saying?
I'll put it this way. They're closer to winning a Super Bowl right now than they were at 7 o'clock this morning.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I'm saying Super Bowls in the future. I won't say how long into the future. But they had joint practices today against the Jets, and the response has been positive, and I think it's important to emphasize that when you can, because it's not always been positive, whether practice, preseason, actual games over the last however many years for the Panthers. So we're replaying the opening segment because it was fun, it was optimistic, it was gosh darn it, it was what the Panthers fans needed. Now we'll see if they can keep it up on the weekend. But that's going to start Overdrive. Follow our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan. Please subscribe while you're there. Comment, share, all those sorts of things. Enjoy Overdrive. We'll be back tomorrow with 3 to round out the week. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
The Adam Gold Show.
Does the ACC need their own Paul Feinbaum? Not really. You know what the ACC really needs? They need NC State to beat Tennessee. They need North Carolina to beat Minnesota. They need Clemson to be good against Georgia. Win? I don't know, man. Georgia's a brick wall. But look the part. And Miami beat Florida. That's what the ACC needs. Win some of these games.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on